Good, how are you? Board of Supervisors regular meeting and fire protection meeting to order. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land we call home. Communities in the San Diego region have faced unrest conditions and circumstances related to the environments in which they live. The tribal nations of the San Diego region are an example of one community that has historically faced injustices. We acknowledge the harmony that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples, who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respect to the city, territory, and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most Indian County in the United States, and four cultural groups: the Kuniyateño, the Luiseño, the Cupeño, and the Cahuilla. We aspire to learn from indigenous traditional knowledge and experiences in undoing the injustices of the past. Andrew, please call the roll for today's session.
Thank you, Chair Lawson-Remer. I would like to note that Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp is absent today. She's traveling on county business and will be participating remotely tomorrow. With that, Supervisor Anderson.
Here.
Supervisor Desmond.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Aguirre.
Here.
And Chair Lawson-Remer.
Here. We will now have Priest Rajan Zed and Priest Panit Kedar Dave deliver the invocation, and Nathan Bennett will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Starting with Gayatri Mantra, which is considered the most sacred mantra of Hinduism, we shall be reading from ancient Hindu scriptures, some as old as 1500 BCE, and then interpret in English. Om.
Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat.
We meditate on the transcendental glory of the Deity Supreme, who is inside the heart of the earth, inside the life of the sky, and inside the soul of the heaven. May He stimulate and illuminate our minds.
Astoma Sadgamaya Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya.
Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality.
Tasmadasaktaha satatam karyam karamam samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha.
Strive constantly to serve the welfare of the world. By devotion to selfless, one attains the supreme goal of life. Do your work with the welfare of others always in mind.
Karmanaiva hi sansiddhe mastita janakadayaha loka sangraha hi sanse sampyashyan kartumarhasi. Om Sahana Bhavatu तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे.
May we be protected together, may we be nourished together, may we work together with great vigor, may our study be enlightening, may no obstacle arise between us.
समानीवः आकुतिः समाना हृदयानिवः समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा वः सुसहासते.
United your resolve, united your hearts, may your spirits be at one, that you may long together dwell in unity and concord.
Om Shantihi Shantihi.
Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om. Thank you.
Would everyone place their hands over their hearts? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We now proceed with the proclamation. The first proclamation is given by myself honoring National Bike Safety Week. Accepting the proclamation is fully loud. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am so grateful to be joined by the San Diego Bike Coalition, the YMCA, and Scripps Trauma Prevention to honor National Bike Safety Month. National Bike Safety Month is a time dedicated to promoting safer cycling habits and raising awareness of bicycle laws, infrastructure improvements, and helmet use, while encouraging community support for cyclists of all ages and abilities. Across our region, we've made meaningful investments to support bicycling as a healthy, sustainable, and accessible mode of transportation. Expanding bikeways, improving connectivity, and streaming data systems all reflect a long-term vision for safer streets. But infrastructure alone is not enough. Safety begins with informed riders, attentive drivers, and communities that prioritize prevention. Right now, we're seeing a rise in bicycle-related incidences. Many of these involve bikes. Alongside a rise in illegal e-bike usage, we're also seeing an alarming increase in young riders on high-powered illegal e-motorcycles. Vehicles that can move 60 miles per hour and are simply not designed for bike lanes or young operators. These recent trends make education and awareness more important than ever. By working together, we can ensure that every child and family can enjoy the benefits of bicycling safely. So now, therefore be it proclaimed by my members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on the 5th day of May 2026 that we hereby declare this month to be Bicycle Safety Month throughout the San Diego County.
Thank you so much, Chair Lawson-Remer and the entire County Board of Supervisors for everything you're doing for bicycling throughout San Diego County. Thank you for recognizing this 70th annual Bike Month. It's been happening since 1956. Accepting this proclamation is an honor, and it also comes at a critical turning point. Today, our work is more urgent than ever. In the face of backlash, budget cuts, fatalities, and global uncertainty, we cannot afford to wait. We must take bold action locally to build the people-centered places where we, along with our friends, families, and neighbors, can truly thrive. Biking is much more than a mode of transport or something you do for fun. It's a solution hidden in plain sight. When we bike, it's a win for our health. It keeps our hearts strong and our minds clear. It's also a win for our environment. We can reduce emissions and protect our beautiful San Diego ecosystem. And finally, it's a win for our pocketbooks. It provides an escape from rising gas prices and the staggering costs of car ownership. But most importantly, cycling is joyful. It brings diverse people together and turns streets into communities. Let's use this month not only for celebration, but for advocacy and as a catalyst to build a San Diego County that is safer, more connected, and more resilient for everyone. We'll see you on the road.
The second proclamation will be given by myself, the Chairperson of Erie, honoring National Nurses Week. Accepting the proclamation is Angela Michelle.
Good morning. I want to begin with a simple but important truth. Healthcare is a human right. Every person in our community deserves access to quality, compassionate care, no matter who they are or where they live. And everyday nurses help turn that belief into a reality. Today it is my privilege to recognize National Nurse Week, a time to honor the extraordinary nurses who are essential to the health and well-being of our communities. Nurses are often the first face a patient sees and the last voice they hear before going home. They bring clinical expertise, compassion, patience, and humanity to every interaction. Their work is not easy. It is essential. Here at the County of San Diego, our nurses are a cornerstone of our public health system. They serve in county clinics, behavioral health programs, public health initiatives, correctional facilities, and out in our neighborhoods, meeting people where they are. Through their work, they help ensure care is accessible, culturally responsive, and grounded in the needs of our diverse communities. County nurses play a critical role in immunizations, health screening, disease prevention, and chronic condition management. They're on the front lines during emergencies, and just as importantly, they're present every day during the steady, often unseen work that keeps our communities healthy. Our county nurses are trusted partners. They lead with kindness in every interaction. They stay curious, always seeking better ways to serve. They act boldly in the face of challenges. And they consistently do the right thing, upholding the highest standards of care and integrity. So during this National Nurse Week, we extend our profound gratitude to all County of San Diego nurses. Your dedication, resilience, and commitment to making a lasting difference in the lives of those you serve. I would now like to turn it over to Chair Lawson.
Thank you, Chairperson McCurry. And I first just want to echo exactly how my colleague began, which is that healthcare is a human right. And I am so grateful for the work of our nurses to make sure that everyone in our community is able to enjoy quality, accessible healthcare. I know how hard you work. And during National Nurses Week, we who care for the people of San Diego. Every day, county nurses make an incredible difference in people's lives. We do everything from comforting a worried parent to guiding someone through a difficult diagnosis helping seniors remain healthy and independent, and responding in moments of crisis. You are the heart and soul of our public health system. You meet people where they're at, in clinics, in schools, in behavioral health programs, and neighborhoods, providing care that respects culture, builds trust, and ensures that everyone has an opportunity to be healthy. Your work uplifts entire communities. Your immunizations, health screenings, disease prevention, chronic care management, emergency response, outreach, you are protecting our region and our strength and investing in our future. So now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself and my colleagues on this 5th day of May 2026 that we commend County of San Diego nurses for your outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the residents of San Diego County, and do hereby declare the week of May 6th and 12th to be National Nurses Week throughout San Diego County.
I'm Angie Mitchell, Chief Nursing Officer for the Health and Human Service Agency. To Chair Lawson Reamer and members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Paloma Aguirre for sponsoring the 2026 Nurses Week proclamation. It is this board's steadfast support for our nurses that makes a meaningful difference in the health and well-being of our communities, as reflected in San Diego's consistent ranking among the nation's healthiest cities. On behalf of all County of San Diego nurses, it is an honor to be here alongside my nursing colleagues to accept this proclamation recognizing the vital work across the enterprise. This year, the American Nurses Association's theme is the power of nurses. As we serve the diverse communities of our county, we know that our power lies in being kind, being curious, being bold, and doing the right thing for those most vulnerable populations that we serve. Our efforts span maternal child health, aging and independent services, justice-involved individuals, behavioral health services, and many other areas that advance the health of our community. Nearly 1,100 nurses strong, our outreach, compassion, collaboration, and expertise support the counties of San Diego's mission to build a region that is building better health, living safely, and thriving. Working alongside such devoted nursing professionals is a cherished privilege. Happy Nurses Week. We celebrate you today, we celebrate you every day and always. Thank you.
The third proclamation will be given by Chairperson McCreary honoring the 200 missing Indigenous Peoples Day. Accepting the proclamation will be a strong part of the
Honored to recognize the National Day of Awareness honoring missing and murdered Indigenous women and Indigenous relatives this morning with MNIP San Diego. This is a deeply personal issue to me and must speak for everyone. San Diego County is home to the most tribal nations in the United States. The 18 federally recognized tribes are diverse and committed to addressing the many issues facing tribal members. In some areas, American Indian women face violence at rates up to 10 times higher than non-Indigenous women. Human trafficking is also a major concern. Here in San Diego County, our proximity to the border creates an even greater danger. Families of missing and murdered Indigenous relatives often encounter systemic barriers when seeking timely law enforcement response, coordinated investigations, culturally responsive victim services, and accurate media or public communication. They also experience compounding trauma, grief, and distrust in systems meant to protect them. Tribal nations, Native-led organizations, and community advocates in San Diego County have been working tirelessly to shine the light on the challenges faced when a loved one goes missing or has been taken. The County Administration Center will be lit in red tonight in solidarity and in honor of those who have gone missing or have been murdered. A growing collaboration of tribal nations and community partners dedicated to confronting and fighting this crisis include Kamul Indian Village of California, Sequan Band of the Kumeyaay Nation, Manzanilla Band of the Kumeyaay Nation, and San Pascual Band of Mission Indians, and organizations like Strong Hearted Native Women with us today. All are working together in coordination to educate, increase awareness, prevention, and protection so that no mother or father has to live through the disappearance or murder of their child. So therefore, today, be it proclaimed by Chair Tara Lawson Reamer and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 5th day of May 2026 that we commend MMIP San Diego and Strong Hearted Native Women's Coalition for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and we do hereby declare this day to be Missing and Murdered Indigenous Peoples MMIP Awareness Day throughout San Diego.
Thank you. Deeply appreciate it. Me and Joshua Ikwan, no Doom, B'nai Glad, no Obama now, no Shinway President, Mr. Lowell, San Diego County Board of Supervisors, Mr. Lowell to prevent a very I am from the Palma Band, I was president of the Strong Hearted Native Women's Coalition. What a great honor to be here today. Thank you so much for giving us this time. The proclamation means so much to not only the communities that we serve, but the individuals here in this room. I don't think we cannot defeat this issue unless we have the support and the interactions with San Diego Board of Supervisors, our community members. So it's deeply appreciated, and it is about awareness. Just wanted to share a few words. Today we're here to draw attention to this ongoing crisis of the missing and murdered Indian people, and it's a direct impact in San Diego County. This is not a distant or an abstract issue. It is happening within our communities and demands a greater awareness and accountability in action. To date, unfortunately, San Diego County has 8 documented missing individuals, 5 males and 3 females. These numbers, while already concerning, do not fully reflect the scope of crisis due to the unreporting and inconsistencies in the data collection. Equally troubling are the cases that remain underinvestigated, particularly those involving suspicious deaths or murders. Families are too often left without answers, and cases involving Indigenous victims frequently receive less attention and fewer resources. The disparity contributes to the cycle of injustice and mistrust between Indigenous communities and law enforcement, and we are continually trying to improve that, and we deeply appreciate the relationships that we have. There are also a critical need for education and transparency regarding available alert systems, and such as the Federal Alert. Many community members remain unaware of whether the system is being effectively implemented and when it is activated, how it is used to locate missing Indigenous persons. Clarity and consistent use of such tools can make a significant difference in response and times and outcome. I just want to take this time again to thank everybody. As my words kind of share, it does take education and transparency in relationships, and we're so thankful for being acknowledged, not only just for the work, but the acknowledgement of the people that are from this community. So we deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. The fourth proclamation will be given by Supervisor Anderson honoring National Public Works Week. Accepting the proclamation will be released.
This room, come on up. Good morning, everybody. Today I'm honored to recognize National Public Works Week with a proclamation that acknowledges the importance of public works to the prosperity of our communities. First, I'd like to thank our director, Marissa Burry, and I'm going to have her later introduce her entire staff. I want to make sure I didn't anybody slip through the cracks. Marissa and her team do an incredible job of maintaining our public infrastructure to ensure our communities remain safe, connected, and functionally smooth each and every day. The Department of Public Works oversees not only the construction of our roads and bridges, but critical public works systems, including our complex water and sewage systems. This year, DPW delivered major infrastructure upgrades in my district and throughout San Diego County, and my constituents are so grateful. I'm just going to brag a little bit about my district, the great work that you've accomplished. But 356 miles were resurfaced, 142 miles of new bike lanes that we just honored people that like to cycle, 1,387 ADA curb ramps, making it much more accessible in East County, 85 intersection improvements, 188 culvert repair and bore replacements. And by the way, in past years, we've had flooding issues due to the rains. All this work, all these upgrades, that's why you're not hearing about the county in the news with homes being flooded. 34 traffic signal upgrades. These essential services often operate unseen, yet let me tell you, they're felt. They are fundamental to our daily lives, protecting public health, safety, and the growth of our communities and cities. Their work ensures that our foundational infrastructure remains prepared to support future generations. Today, we extend our utmost gratitude to our public work professionals. Those expertise ensure safe transportation, networks, and other use on a daily basis. Thank you, team, for your incredible work, especially in my district, but in everybody else's district as well. So I'd like to present this to you, and I'm just going to read some of the best parts of it, and that is being proclaimed by Chair Lawson Reamer and all the members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 5th day of May 2026
that they commend the County of San Diego's Department of Public Works for their outstanding service, leadership, and citizens of San Diego County, and here to declare May 17th through the 21st to be National Public Works Week throughout San Diego County. And if you wouldn't mind saying the words and introducing your team, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Good morning. What an honor to be up here and to be representing such an incredible group of people that has worked for decades to bring the great roads we enjoy in this community. At your request, Supervisor Anderson, I'm just going to do first names as we go around here, but we've got Murali, Ali, Keith, Frank, and Nick, some of the key players on the team that have helped us bring our roads to where they are today. Supervisor Anderson and to the entire Board of Supervisors, it was your vision, your leadership, your commitment to this program nearly 10 years ago that brought $500 million into resurfacing 800 miles, nearly 800 miles of our 2,000 miles of roads. It's not just the people here today, it's hundreds of people, both within the county staff as well as our partners in the community, the contractors that did the work, the local small businesses that helped us succeed in meeting this objective, our partners throughout the county within Public Works, transportation team, engineering, our design team, our construction team, our luge leadership and their partnership in advocating to keep our program moving forward. And we're just so excited that we'll continue to have your support going into the future while we continue to get after the rest of our 1,200 miles of roads. What a wonderful team to be a part of. I've inherited this legacy and I'm grateful to be here today to represent so many people, and I've probably forgotten some, but thank you so much.
You mentioned the state certification of
Yes,
roads.
thank you, yes. So our payment condition is at a level 70, which was recognized by county engineers as well as the county association and cities as well as the best in the state amongst cities and counties for our pavement management practices. So we're putting your tax dollars straight into the roads and really having an impact to a level of which is the leading example across the entire state. So thank you very much, Supervisor Anderson.
Thank you. Let's do a photo.
Of course, thank you.
When I first got elected, I live in the unincorporated, and they're fully responsible for our roads. And I had almost weekly meetings with staff for the last 5 years. And to hit that number of 70 is absolutely remarkable. Very few counties have done it. I don't know if anybody else has done it, to be honest with you, certainly not Los Angeles. But outstanding work. That's why it was so important to recognize you today, because I was in the trenches of sorts, encouraging you. I did none of the work. You did all of the work. But I want to be your biggest cheerleader because it's made such a huge difference for all our constituents. Thank you for that outstanding work. Let's do our quick photo. Again, if any of my colleagues who enjoy roads would like to come down to it, I know that you all love roads, not just bicycle lanes. Oh, please do. Please do. It's not too late.
And I apologize, one really important part of our team, our road crews out there every day, fixing potholes, guardrails, striping. They're amazing, and they're part of the success as well. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Come on up here.
Nurses are so important. They get 2 awards today. So we're very grateful to all the nurses here at the county and then actually at all our hospitals and everywhere else. So good morning and welcome to this is the Palomar Health Trauma Center nurses and their foundation team all the way from North County, San Diego. Thanks for making the drive. We truly appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us here today. We proudly recognize the compassion, the dedication, and the excellence of all nurses as we kick off National Nurses Week tomorrow, May 6th, and to observe National Nurses Month throughout May. We should have a whole year. Anyway. Trauma nurses serve the front lines. In emergencies, they do emergency care, delivering rapid, life-saving interventions to patients in critical condition. Their specialized knowledge, clinical experience, and calm, decisive actions are indispensable in moments when every second matters. With compassion and resilience, they care for patients and they support the families as well. Usually it's a nurse that comes up with with the kind words. Through people's life, and with compassion and resilience, they care for patients and support families through some of life's most difficult and uncertain times. Through effective collaboration across varied care teams and continuous learning, dedicated nurses deliver exceptional care. They strengthen the healthcare system and they perform extraordinary work under pressure. Their invaluable contributions enhance the health, safety, and well-being of communities all across San Diego County. So whereas the County of San Diego, we're proud to recognize with deep gratitude all nurses whose compassion, skill, and unwavering dedication brings comfort and hope to patients and their families during their most times of need. And the Palomar Health trauma nurses are one such worthy group. So therefore, be it proclaimed by all the members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors that on this 5th day of May, 2026, that we commend Palomar Health trauma nurses for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and to hereby declare today. Okay. Today to be Palomar Health Trauma Nurses Day throughout San Diego County. Thank you and congratulations. So next we're going to have Nathan Bennett's going to come up and say a few words. All right.
Hi there, my name is Nathan. I'm a trauma nurse at Palomar, as just said. I'm joined by Drew Goodwin, another trauma nurse with me at Palomar Health, and Christy Knight from the Palomar Foundation, who's going to say a few words instead of me.
Thank you to Supervisor Desmond and the entire County Board of Supervisors for honoring our trauma nurses and our healthcare heroes here this morning and those that are in the hospitals serving today. I'm proud to represent Palomar Health, and Palomar Medical Center Escondido is designated a Level 2 Trauma Center, serving approximately 2,200 square miles of North San Diego and southern Riverside counties. It's a region that's home to over 1 million people. And the emergency department at Palomar Medical Center in Escondido is an ENA Lantern Award winner, and what that is the Emergency Nurses Association's most prestigious recognition for emergency departments. It demonstrates exceptional and innovative performance in leadership, practice, education, advocacy, and research. And it is the only award specifically for emergency departments. So we're just really proud to highlight Palomar Health's commitment to quality, safety, and a healthy work environment. PMCE recently received reaccreditation from the American College of Surgeons for our trauma services, and our geriatric emergency department reaccreditation, which I know this county is very proud of, as San Diego County was the first county in the nation to earn a region-wide senior-friendly emergency department accreditation for all 18 regional hospitals. That was part of the San Diego Senior Emergency Care Initiative. Palomar's ED and trauma teams are at the forefront of innovation and continuous improvement, most recently being recognized by the Joint Commission for Excellence in Pediatric Readiness with the creation of a pediatric resuscitation room and for the integration of spiritual care into the ED and trauma arenas. Another noteworthy is the Palomar Medical Center Escondido consistently meets AB 40 requirements for ambulance patient offload times with one of the highest ambulance volumes in the county. We are just really proud of our trauma nurses here today, and we host annually at the end of May a Trauma Survivors event that provides an opportunity for our patients to come back together and share stories of survival and gratitude. It's a powerful testimony to the incredible life-saving work that our ED and trauma nurses provide to our community every day. So thank you to our two healthcare heroes standing before you today.
Well, I want to thank Nathan and Drew for being here, being trauma nurses in North County, San Diego, Palomar Health. And Nathan, you even said the Pledge of Allegiance this morning. So he's a double duty today. And Christy and I have been worked at the county and the board floor for several years. So it's great to see you again. Christy, I'm glad you're back, and you're still doing great things for people, and so appreciate that. Yeah, we'll get a picture.
Everybody's eyes in the right spot. Okay, stand.
You two gotta get the same.
Perfect. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. At the outset of this meeting, I'll take a moment to remind everyone of our house rules. Public engagement is recorded to be transparent and equitable. These board of supervisors meetings are one very critical venue where all city agents can make their voices heard. Under the board's rules, speakers may not use loud, shouting, threatening, impertinent, and profanity use of language directed to any members of the board, staff, or the general public. Most importantly, all remarks and questions must remain on topic of the duration of your speaking time and must be addressed to the board, not to county staff. And the speaker engages in comments by some rules will be issued a warning. After warning, will be asked to leave the chamber for the remainder of the meeting. Speakers that make matters may be reported to law enforcement and removed from the meeting. This is based on community engagement with duration in progress, not for harassment, violence, and hate. We now proceed with non-agenda public communication. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board on subject matters within our jurisdiction, but not our meeting agenda today. The only action we may take is a referral to the chief administrative officers. Under our board rules, speakers may speak once per meeting for non-agenda public comment, either today or tomorrow, but not at both sessions. You can select which session to address at your convenience. To facilitate our meeting, we have 5 speakers in person and 5 speakers by phone for non-agenda public comment, and the first 5 speakers will be chosen by random. The remainder will be heard at the close of the session today. Additionally, according to the board rules, in order to ensure timely completion of today's agenda, for any discussion item with 10 or more speakers, individuals will have 1 minute to share your opinion. As a reminder, according to Rule 4A, members of the public that have not in English speaking and interpretation assistance received twice the allotted time for your comments. Please remember, according to our board's rules and procedures, audience members may not whistle, clap, stomp feet, or do anything to disrupt the proceeding. Again, if you disrupt the meeting, you'll be given a warning. After that warning, if you disrupt the meeting again, you'll be directed to leave the chamber. And this is
Thank you, Chair Lawson Reamer. We have 20 requests to speak on matters not listed on the agenda, 7 individuals in person, and 13 requesting to speak by phone. For those that requested to speak by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers, and we'll now randomly select the first 5 individuals. First 5 speakers in person. All the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it's your turn to speak at the podium. We'll have 2 minutes to address the board. I'll ask you to begin by stating your name for the audio record. I'd like to invite forward the first 3 individuals, Liz Santos, Sharmita Banks, and Ricky Robinson. And they'll be followed by Cesar Javier and allegedly Otter. Call your name, please come forward.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Liz Santos. I am a generational landowner in San Marcos and a defendant in a quiet title action fueled by municipal overreach. I am here to expose a pattern of selective administrative bias used to strip away deeded property rights. The city of San Marcos claims it cannot get involved in private easement issues. Yes, their actions prove otherwise. Every time I face an access issue on my own deeded easement, the city bypasses me to coordinate directly with the developer. They make immediate corrections to student construction meetings, acting as a concierge for development while treating my property rights as a disposable obstacle. Supervisor Desmond, the North City Division has evolved into something unconstitutional. Under the current authority of Mayor Rebecca Jones, the city has acted as a land broker, purchasing property surrounding my home and selling it to Gary Levitt. The city then granted discretionary approval of TPM 19001 without my permission, without my consent or signature. This map authorizes the removal of recorded resident access without proving alternative buyer circulation. The city didn't allow this conflict. They manufactured it by issuing permits and improvement plans. I'm asking the board for oversight. We are municipally taxed as a broker for the land. They do not own an approved map that ease access. It's a violation of equal protection. I urge District 5 to protect the integrity of our land. Records, deeds must be enforced to protect our homes. They are a citizen's greatest asset. Thank you.
Could you contact my office, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Is that information first? You should.
Next speaker, please.
Ricky Robinson, non-agenda. I'm the grandfather of Malika and Zaya Robinson. Is San Diego partner with North Korea, or is it still America where families are supposed to have rights? Bunch of questions here. What gives San Diego the right to drag innocent parents and family members to court with no arrest, no criminal charge, and no jury? What gives you the right to torture children and families and then call it protection? What gives you the right to keep children in a home of control, not love? What gives you the right to ignore children crying, screaming, clinging, and begging to go home? What gives you the right to call that no bond? What gives you the right to profit from children's trauma? What gives you the right to bury toddlers' sexual abuse concerns instead of treating them like an emergency? What gives you the right to punish a family for speaking up? What gives you the right to keep doing this to get families and think no one will expose it? What makes you think Malika and Zaya are going to stay in prisoners in your house of horrors? Malika and Zaya belong home. They have a family. This agency has retaliated against my family and put us through hell. I'm supposed to be enjoying my golden years. And I'm fighting to get my grandchildren back. I mean, everybody up here, you're just a bunch of low-life criminals. You're not even cool criminals. You're low-lifes. Stealing children, let's get out of the child trafficking term. You're stealing children, third grade, so a third grader can understand it. You're stealing children and profiting from them, and you're creating mental health, behavior health, making millions. Yeah, David Brown, I saw the invoice. You're making over $3 million a year as just the county council.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
board members. My name is Sharita Banks. I'm a constituent of District 4. I'm here to request immediate reinstatement of my Section 8 voucher based on the principle of equitable tolling. In 2016, my housing assistance was terminated after I submitted a formal request for a reasonable accommodation after I was in a major car accident that resulted in my face being disfigured as well as my hearing. Today, I am currently struggling mentally and physically as well from a recent spinal surgery. I received an email on July 27, 2016 from Anthony McCall stating he received my request and would provide an answer by investigating by no later than July 29th of 2016. 2026, that request was never answered. Furthermore, the Housing Authority has admitted they cannot produce a denial letter or the original request stating that the documents was no longer available. Because the agency failed to provide me due process or maintain the records of my request, the statute of limitations should be told. I have been deprived of a vital resource through no fault of my own, but rather due to an administrative error and a failure to address a disability-related accommodation, resulting in my family and I to experience homelessness for 9 years, to struggle with a disability mentally and both physically, and have to face my children knowing that I cannot provide housing for them is unbearable. Today I'm asking the board to direct the Housing Authority to review my case under equitable tolling. Thank you. Your time is up. Restore my faith. Thank you. Next speaker,
please. Cesar and Rita, Javier family, you have ignored us. You have grossly neglected us. When I humbly approach Sir Anderson, I cannot help you, Mr. Javier. When I approach Madam Steve, I was endorsed to her staff, and I would like to proclaim a brave Filipino-American who gave us air purifier. Mr. Javier, don't tell anyone. I am a brave American. I am giving you air purifier. Don't tell anyone. We have knelt, prayed that Madam Rimmer could have been thinking something positive to save us from our predicament. Poison gas being breathed in our next door's business, displaced with silica, burned at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, empirically producing poison gas. What have you done, sirs, Ms. Dames, to our predicament, particularly in our medical existing condition victims? How could we survive? Ma'am Rimmer, we have been observing all of us. Ma'am Aguirre, when you were still young in your room, you declared that you have already noticed that poison gas. What have we done? Help us. Help us.
Next speaker appears allegedly Audra does not wish to speak today, so we'll go to the next individual on the list, and that will be Pam.
Thanks, Audra. Hang on, sorry, I wasn't ready. I am now.
painful to the baby in his or her mother's womb. Strong suction tears the baby's body apart, and those parts are sucked through a hose into a container. Or a sharp looped knife cuts the baby's body into pieces for extraction, often by suction. Or forceps used to grab and twist the body to dismember. Solution injected through the mother's abdomen into the amniotic fluid, burning off the baby's skin. The brain. The baby is starved to death and then expelled from the mother's womb, usually into the toilet, directly into the American sewage system that can't filter out human body parts. So which procedure do you think is least painful to the baby during his or her death under the guise of reproductive health care? This is repulsive and evil. The sanctuary status must be repealed.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. When it is your turn to speak, you'll hear a recording that will show you your comments. Again, in accordance with the board's rules, we'll be hearing from the first 5 callers. The remaining callers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. We will begin with our first caller.
Barbara Gordon. I am concerned the county's cannabis program is not addressing the significant impact of marijuana businesses will have in the county. The unincorporated has spectacular open spaces that will be compromised by more marijuana investors. Marijuana growers use pesticides and fertilizers that contaminate soil and water sources. Cultivation requires significant water resources, often exceeding that of traditional crops, leading to a strain of local water supply. Cultivation and processing of marijuana generates significant material, packaging, chemicals, and improper disposal can lead to pollution that harms the environment. As a public health advocate, I urge you to recognize the high potency THC products have in the rise of traffic fatalities and serious psychiatric harm, especially among our youth. I urge you to listen to the community and the many planning groups who oppose this program, like who said, land use decisions made by not exist in isolation. They will shape groundwater demand, agricultural viability, and long-term community character across the entire region. Disappointing that some of the supervisors and county staff are only listening to the loudest voices, which come from the marijuana profiteers, not the residents who live there. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
Good morning, board. My name is Kathleen Lippett. Thank you to Chair Reamer for acknowledging the importance of communities prioritizing prevention. Prevention strategies are essential to prevent problematic and harmful behaviors from escalating and becoming far more difficult to treat and far more expensive. Please recognize that the county has a responsibility to set the standards for prevention. At minimum, that should mean that all county policies prioritize the public good. We don't need policies that county is adopting or supporting that have seemed bent on maximizing human vices and ignoring the harms that those industries cause, such as the marijuana industry. Also, the county's ongoing advocacy for their county social equity cannabis ordinance totally ignores the problems that are being caused, and because they're not aware of them. The fact that we have raptors that are being slaughtered by the lot of the green industry that you allow, or the lands that you intend to allow to have these cannabis farms on, we need those species. And studies have shown that when we eliminate those, we get far more human disease. vultures. They don't. But when their numbers drop, human disease goes up because they are a cleanup crew and we need them. But I don't know that it from the ordinance that you have in place so far, there seems to be no education or understanding of the importance of these lands and what's going to happen to them by proceeding to keep.
Hello, good morning. What does the county do when it's afraid that it can't control the situation? Virtue signal. Problem is, we're all of the county, not you. Case in point, on February 10th, the Board of Supervisors proposed Declaration of Independence Party. Any donations adhering to their own views sounds a bit like a witch hunt. This reminds me of the 1950 California Loyalty Oath controversy. UC made its employees take an oath besides the California Constitution, Article 20, Section 3 as of office, to not support an organization that advocates an overthrow of the U.S. government. However, Section 3 adds that no other oath, declaration, or test shall be required as a qualification for any public office or employment. Then there was McCarthyism. Serving two masters usually violates free speech and due process. The loyalty tests were rejected over and over again. I do not think we want to go near that slippery slope again. Yet this sounds like a loyalty test. America was founded on tolerance. Whether there are bumps in the road like government violence, or subjective discrimination, or corporate excesses, it's not the issue. The county's motto is, quote, the noblest motive is the public good, unquote. That has service to the entire county. How can we have public engagement if we shut out people?
I'm slow because not many are paying attention. This all keeps moving like it's normal. Presentations get read, votes get cast, plans get approved, and somehow the same problems get worse because not many people are paying attention. You can say just about anything up there and it goes unchecked. But some of us are paying attention and we see people sleeping. We see families barely holding it together. We see people losing their minds, literally, while you sit through another meeting because not many people are paying attention. Big words get thrown around like they mean something. Sustainability, equity, regional vision, that all sounds nice. But out there, it's not matching reality. And then there's the bigger layer, the one none of you want to acknowledge. Policies don't feel local. Decisions that feel pre-decided, like they're coming from somewhere else and just getting pushed through here. You can call that whatever you want. Because while everyone's distracted, scrolling, arguing, trying to survive, things keep getting locked in place. More control, more pressure, less room to breathe, and most people don't even realize it's happening until it hits their doorstep. History has a pattern though. Empires rise, they overreach, and then they fall. Because not many are paying attention. You've had room to operate without being questioned. That will soon change. People are fed up and tired.
They're done with this abusive relationship by government. They're done being talked at, being managed, done feeling like something isn't right, but being told everything is fine. More people are looking up now, and once enough people see it, really see it, this whole illusion of business as usual will.
Thank you. Come on out here for the final call this morning.
This is Peggy Walker. I'd like to repeat a statement from the gentleman who gave today's lovely invocation, and I quote, "Do your work always with the welfare of others in mind." For some time, medical professionals and researchers have warned that the smoke and ingested dispensary weed have no medical benefits despite unsubstantiated health claims by the industry and no FDA approval. Now that issue will be in federal court. A class action lawsuit accuses 3 of America's largest cannabis companies of systematically advertising their products as medicine while knowing the science does not support the claims, including treating conditions like cancer, depression, and glaucoma. This lawsuit alleges marijuana companies go beyond implied endorsement, claiming very explicit medical and mental health benefits in their marketing materials and in social media. Lawsuits have been filed by individuals alleging harm caused by excessive potency and unverified health benefits of cannabis products. These include cases involving cannabis-induced psychosis and claims marijuana actually worsens health conditions. If the majority of this board will not respond to constituents of the pot expansion, it would be in the interest of public health to at the least codify prohibition of the sale and marketing of marijuana as quote medicine. Failing to do so will contribute to the harms and risks of misleading marketing, often targeting youth, and to harmful consumer misconceptions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Chair Losser-Raymond, that concludes the request for non-agenda public communication this morning. Again, all the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session.
Okay, great, thank you so much. The next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes of scheduled proceedings for the general legislative session of April 21st and April 22nd, and the minutes for concurrent special district meetings of San Diego County Fire Protection District for March 3rd and 24th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. A motion by Supervisor Anderson, second by Chairperson McGeary. Andrew, please vote. Call the vote.
Chair Losser-Raymond, that motion passes unanimously. All supervisors are present at 29.
Okay, thank you so much. We now proceed with the formation of the consent agenda, items 1 through 8. All items on the consent agenda are routine and will be acted upon with one motion. Individuals may comment on the consent agenda after the supervisor pull items they would like for discussion. First, Andrew has an update on one item of consent.
Thank you, Chair Losser-Raymond. I would like to note for the record that item 5 is being withdrawn at the request of the Chief Administrative Officer. Again, that's item 5 is being withdrawn at the request of the Chief Administrative Officer.
Please note that, folks, so that when you make comments on consent, if you're commenting on item 5, they will be would any of my colleagues like to pull any items for discussion or any comments on items on the consent agenda? Chairperson McGeary? Supervisor Anderson?
I have a comment that's on the agenda. I want to wish our colleague happy birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Supervisor.
I couldn't think of a better place to be.
Celebrating with friends.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Supervisor Desmond?
No items to pull, no comments.
Okay, great. So we now turn to public comment.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We make a motion to approve. Okay. We have a motion from Supervisor Desmond and a second from Chairman Pro Tem McGeary. For our public commenteers,
Thank you, Chair Lawson Reamer. We have 14 requests to speak on items on the consent agenda, 3 in person and 11 requesting to speak by phone. Again, as a reminder, item 5 has been withdrawn. Any individuals that requested to speak on the items on the consent agenda by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak at the podium. You will have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to begin by stating your name for the audio record. Also, when speaking, please identify which item or items on the consent agenda you are speaking about. I'd like to invite forward Cesar Javier and allegedly Audra. I call your name, please come forward.
We have several items here, and first I would like to focus on item number 3. Bianca very Ebony Wright be present until this item is fully, robustly, honestly discussed. The leadership is vital in any position, any kind of work in this county, primarily on the aspect of moral dimension. When you speak of moral dimension, Sir Anderson, you know what is right, you know what is not right, and we have pledged allegiance to our flag that we will stay on the right, morally justified sector in our decision making. We are here working together with my wife because we are at stake with whatever decisions you are making. We are in one nation. We are in one geographic. San Diegans. We have lived for almost 30 years as an immigrant. We have voted for you. We have elected for you. And so, please, the expectation should be fulfilled. God help us to approve or to recruit leadership that are with confidence, with hard-working attitude, on the side of right things to do, if only to save San Diegans.
I wore my shirt for number 5. I'm not taking it off.
Can you please state your name?
Pam. For this item, public sources of lead exposure to 111 children with elevated blood lead levels. Why isn't there a presentation to let us know really how effective these were or what services were provided to each individual? Contrast this number of 111 with the 2025 data from Planned Parenthood Pacific, where 23,638 abortions were performed last year in the counties of San Diego, Riverside, and Imperial. Typical of the county to pick and choose which children to pretend to care about and protect, and it all comes down to money. In closing, I would like to say it's a good thing you pulled number 5 because the goal to end discrimination and promote human rights and protection included the mentally ill and autogynephilia individuals in the category of women and girls. This is repulsive. Good thing you pulled it because it is evil.
Next speaker, please. Right.
I am so glad Pam gave us a little lesson of what they do to babies. That is so cool. I wonder if you can go and it's like ordering from like a value menu. And if you can just be like, I want a number 1. And then they just like rip the baby apart. Who knows? I don't know which one you're going to pick, Tara, but it'll be interesting. Yes, so with this lead poisoning, I find it interesting because it's like, why not just let them die? Like, kids are really annoying, right? I mean, they just kind of like cost you a bunch of money. I mean, they cry and whine, you gotta feed them, right? Change their diaper unless you just kind of let them walk around and go poop and pee everywhere. But I just feel like this isn't in our, goals to harm children. So I feel like you shouldn't try and prevent that, although I don't really think you guys are. You're probably just getting this money, which is so smart. I mean, how many more ways can we make money off the backs of children? I feel like there's just a lot. I mean, we could have them do slave labor. Like, maybe they could start building the buildings, or we could send them out to the Salton Sea and just have a mine for lithium and stuff. They do that in other countries. It's very productive. And they're super resilient. I also think that we should put items in the agenda to extend the ages of what people call abortions, right? Like murdering children. I'm wondering, because up until they're 18, I feel like we should be able to do that if they kind of just get on your nerves and you're like, oh my gosh, why are you crying? Just because you want to go home and see your family, that's super annoying. We're going to just have to kind of give you guys some drugs and stuff so that you'll shut up. What else could we do? We could probably just, people were throwing them over the wall during the border invasion. That was pretty cool too. So, and those children just probably got their organs harvested, so.
When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording of what's going to be in your comments. We will start with our first caller.
Hector. Amen. But all the ladies are always complaining about the marijuana. You've all seen The Godfather, haven't you? Even he was protesting the drug. Keep it amongst the darkies. Let them lose their souls. They're animals. But let's keep that marijuana stuff amongst the darkies. Just like it says on the Godfather. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here for the next caller.
Although for the child with the lead poisoning stuff, there's too much lead spread around this county by kilns and Gillespie Field especially. And it's not just kids who get affected. The Javier's and Bob German could tell you more. But it is really shameful that it occurs near schools and elderly people who are more susceptible. There must be something you can do, like move the runways or kilns, or ban lead fuel entirely without citing the FAA regulations preventing you every time that subject comes up. We need to eliminate the causes, not just treat the individuals. The effects are permanent, although some symptoms may be reversible. 6. Compensation ordinance includes an unexploited counterproductive salary method, an important function, unacceptable. Compensation ordinance section 2, it would be nice to know what the chief people officer is getting as a annual salary reduction. He or she designs and implements programs to build workforce resilience and enhance leadership within this county. Things that are highly needed in these times of financial and social stress, especially for county leadership. And I'd appreciate your comment on this. Section 4. I wish I could rent a one-bed, one-bath apartment for $127 a month. but somehow you don't seem to be willing to actually impose the rent cap for. No wonder there's a huge affordability crisis. Number one, leads men.
Thank you, Kathleen, with that. I really enjoyed the item, and I think it's wonderful that you are focusing on preventing lead poisoning among children. I wish it wasn't only because what it seems like is that there's grant money available, and therefore that's what you're going to request and use. It is just important to prevent lead poisoning among adults. And the consumption lounges that you plan on allowing will do just that. They will expose their consumers and their patrons to lead, because marijuana smoke and vape, and along with tobacco, and we fought for tobacco-free workplaces for decades, and now you will undermine all of that work to allow for an industry that you decided you were going to partner with. So please look at what lead does to adults as well, and please prevent those exposures, just like you are trying to prevent childhood lead. Thank you for letting me speak.
Okay, thank you. I'd also like to speak on consent item 4, accepting funding from the California Department of Public Health for childhood lead poisoning prevention services. This item is more urgent than it may appear. Many people don't realize that tobacco and marijuana vapes can expose users and those around them to toxic metals, including lead. These particles don't disappear. They settle into homes as what we now call third-hand smoke, a toxic residue that clings to walls, carpets, furniture, and dust. Children are especially vulnerable because they crawl, touch surfaces, and put their hands in their mouths. California has already recognized how serious this is. Under AB 455, California's third-hand smoke disclosure law, sellers of homes must disclose known contamination from smoking or vaping. And third-hand smoke is now treated as an environmental hazard, on par with lead paint or asbestos. That's based in part on research from San Diego State University Center for Tobacco and the Environment, which has shown these residues can persist for years and are very difficult to remove. So when we talk about lead poisoning prevention, we need to include modern sources of exposure. Vaping is often marketed as safer, but it can introduce heavy metals into indoor environments where families live and children grow. I also want to emphasize accountability. Recent federal action, like the House vote to remove liability protections for pesticide manufacturers tied to products like Roundup herbicide, shows a growing recognition that companies must be responsible for the safety of what they sell. That same principle should apply here. Consumers deserve transparency, and communities deserve protection. I suggest both traditional and emerging sources of lead exposure. Protecting children from lead is one of the most cost-effective public health investments we can make. I urge you to support this item.
Next caller is Consuelo.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Good phone here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I just kind of wanted to, thinking out of the box here, I wanted to touch base on the lead stuff, because I know once things become to where you guys are making choices and decisions about it, it's no longer, it's no longer, it's being vilified, okay? So I'm like I said, I'm going out of the box, and I'm, I've done a little bit of research on lead in the past, and from what I remember, the data that was done is that, it does protect us. It's a protective thing, when you get your x-rays. Another thing is that it protects us from, there's no more lead-based paints. And it's just also, it sucks. It's nefarious how but in actual for thousands of years, and it's just it's not because it's supposedly toxic. It's because of what it does regarding metals, and it's just, gosh, there's so many. You know what? I'm gonna do a little. I know, you can check it out. Freeful Society Instagram, because they're vilifying lead, and it's there for our protection, people. I promise. Sounds crazy, I know. Conspiracy theorists right here, but it's really not.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Becky Rath, and I'd like to speak to items number 4 and 5. I appreciate the county's concern for childhood lead poisoning prevention. Lead exposure is a serious environmental health risk, and the program plays an important role in identifying and reducing harm for children. At the same time, I would encourage the county to broaden its focus on pediatric poisoning and emergency department visits. Our hospitals are also seeing children presenting with acute cannabis exposure, most often from accidental ingestion in edible products, and other THC-related adverse effects. These cases are real and preventable. As we strengthen programs for identification, outreach, and education around lead, prevention strategies must be applied to other pediatric toxic exposures, including marijuana products that are often packaged or stored in ways that are accessible to children. A preventative approach would reflect what clinicians are seeing across our emergency departments and ensure that families are supported with education to prevent all forms of childhood poisoning, not just environmental lead exposure. Item number 5, public systems are most effective when they're rooted in fairness. The most qualified person for a job, a program, or an opportunity should be the one selected based on skills, alone. This is a simple principle. People should be treated fairly as individuals, and we should be careful about placing too much emphasis on identity. Many of the challenges we see, whether in housing, health, safety, or economic opportunities, are driven by deeper issues like cost of living, education gaps, family instability, and access to services. Those are the root causes we should be focused on. Thank you.
Thank you. Next comment.
Hey, low-life criminals, it's Tawanda calling in. I'm Mr. Chair. Item 4, is lead poisoning prevention still a thing? Why is the state still funding this to the tune of $3.4 million? What is the actual spending breakdown? Buying non-lead pencils or maybe rubber roofs? Sounds like more state fraud. Item 6, farmers' data cover up for Dolores worth of fraud and as real as Juneteenth being when slaves were free. Unemployment be fired, there would be a retention problem with skilled workers. I mean, makes you question what you got left in your arsenal of workers. In fact, considering that Terra ensured a $14 million kickback to the Purple Shirt Mafia known as SEIU after they donated $5,000 for a campaign via a public special events trust fund, why do any of these people need even higher raises? Having this board already created a high deficit, If we're supposed to actually believe the answer is no, well, let's just watch how many more millions they flow through the elimination. Useless coffee servers masquerading as a legislative. $100,000 a year each, like Kyle Lavelle does. Question is the $255,000 happiness officer. Do we all get to bring our non-service dogs into the county building? Or is that a privilege reserved for wannabe Queen FCs, like Manuela Pulumagune-Malkowski, who bring no happiness to anywhere they go, only misery? Why did I invite withdrawn by the Trump anti-woman board who wanted to give a mystery amount to yet another overpriced consultant, LA-based HRNA Advisors Inc.? And why has Tara denied the right of the people to address this withdrawal? It sounded like Tara threatened yet another violation of the Brown Act. But I'm going to end on a positive rather than Tara probably forced back from guilt. Happy birthday, Jen. Do yourself a favor. Escape while you can.
We'll hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Ann Little here. I came today to speak to consent item 4 and 5, particularly 4 regarding lead and lead compounds being listed by the state of California as known to cause cancer, birth defect, and other reproductive harms. As you know, it's classified under the California Prop 65, Safe Drinking Water and Toxic Enforcement Act. I'm glad to see the continuation of funding. I hope that it results in better education. We used to receive information through the county newsletter regarding water testing results at schools to give us some idea of which schools seem to have higher lead contamination, which would help us understand which communities are more impacted. I would remind us that Prop 65 also lists marijuana as a cause for carcinogens that create problems for unborn children and to their mothers, and the consequences of the birth defects that result. And the information that we're receiving both about lead and about marijuana regarding changes to genetic makeup because of their ingestion. Someone mentioned that it's very difficult to undo the harm caused by serious import, and this is also true for marijuana. It does damage that can't be reversed when it involves young children or those children that haven't been born yet. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Let's do the same.
Hi, this is Jennifer Evans. I am looking at the item with the sheriff, so number 2, and let's see here. So number 1 and number 2, mainly, I just think before we offer more gifts or allow people to keep assets or do anything like that with the sheriff's department, we should first look at all of the people dying in custody. There are so many people dying in custody in the hands of the sheriff, in front of the sheriff, the deputies themselves. So I want to be clear that I'm not saying that the sheriff are killing people, but certainly you're allowing their death, and not because they want to. They don't have the power or the skill set or the ability to save some of these lives, but they do have the ability to save some of these lives. They sit and they watch people suffer. I unfortunately, because I'm a whistleblower, have been to Las Colinas, despite zero history of crime, violence, substance abuse, anything. So when I'm in there, I see with clear eyes. And part of the punishment is to neglect to the point of people literally just dying. And it's so unacceptable. So I don't know why we would have anything on the ballot or anything on the agenda other than cleaning up what exists. And I think part of their suffering and the inmates' suffering is that we have a district attorney who has always been completely unqualified for her job. She's stuffing the jails. She's overstuffing the jails. Her Prop 36 money grab is killing people. There's a 16-week wait list for treatment, and all those placements get kicked back. So it's a vicious, greedy, disgusting cycle that not everybody's participating in, but it's really easy to just quickly point your finger and say, ha, look, it's the sheriff, it's Kelly Martin.
We'll hear from the final callers.
Yeah, I'm really curious why I couldn't talk yesterday. I mean, last time, like suddenly, but whatever. You're a bitch. We all know that. So let's go ahead and talk about these items. We appreciate all this stems down from the fact you guys have no money. You chase funding all over the place, whether or not we need it. Case in point, there are multiple times you've told me, and you told you told us that you have no choice to vote on particular items. So no shit you don't want to hear from us because you don't have a choice yourself, right? Do you want me to show you the video recordings of you saying that? We all understand that you are not pulling this card. You are not making the shot. You're just benefiting from it. Right? I'm surprised someone knocked you up. Really, really surprised with that. Well, whatever. You know what's going to happen to our society. You know your kids have no future whatsoever based off of your actions. And you still proceed anyway, right? How freaking stupid are you guys? The reason why they're trying to cut her free road out is because you can create these HOAs so that you don't have to pay for the road. You'd rather have everyone in an HOA so you have. Now that an address happens to fall there and then they surrounded it and they said, now you can't get onto the road. Now you guys have a problem, right? Now you have to build a special road just for her because you guys were fucking idiots. Morons. Because you don't even understand what the fuck you're doing. Yet you want to pretend you do?
Thank you. Chair Lawson Reaver, that concludes public comment on the items on the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Chair Lawson Reaver, that motion passes unanimously. All supervisors who are present voting aye.
Okay, thank you very much. We now move on to our discussion items 9 through 13, F1 and F2. So we will take items 9, 10, 11, fire protection items 1 and 2 together as they are topically, substantively very interlinked. We now move on to these items. There's a public hearing and adopt ordinance related to fees in relation to county fire by the San Marcos Human Services Agency. Behavioral health services, finance and general government routine, and fire protection district grant, ambulance service and annual fire mitigation program effective fiscal year 2026. Again, this is items 9, 10, 11, and fire protection items 1 and 2. Once again, for our public commenters, items 9, 10, 11, and fire protection items 1 and 2. We will begin with public comments.
Thank you, Chair Lawson Reaver. We have 12 requests to speak on these items, 2 in person and 10 requesting to speak by phone. Also note for the record that for item 9, we received 1 e-comment in opposition. For item 10, 2 e-comments that were neutral. Item 11, 1 e-comment in opposition. And for the Fire Protection District, item 1, 1 e-comment in opposition. Fire Protection District, item 2, 1 e-comment in support. For any individuals, please dial into the conference line using these. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. As your name is called, please come forward and stand in the area of your turn to speak to the podium. Because there are 10 or more speakers on the side, we have 1 minute to address the board. I'd like to invite forward Cesar Javier and allegedly Audra.
meetings 9, 10, and 11. But our attention is focused on this fire medical examiner. This is a great training vehicle for Toastmasters students. Are highly spirited to express, if only to achieve the right thing to do. We perceive this as cost for operations, both on health side and firefighting measures and programs. We hope that we only extend what is within our means. Let us not dream of something that we cannot do.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
So smart, 12 seconds. Each item.
You're so intelligent, Tara, because I didn't realize that fire medical examiners, behavioral health, and voters, and the registrar and stuff like that all had to do with each other. I love it. Learning something new every day. So speaking of behavioral health, because what we're doing is creating behavioral health issues, what I thought we could do is really make it fun and we could televise this. I know they do this kind of stuff in the underground tunnels and stuff, like with the Epstein kids, where they totally like do a bunch of experiments. But I thought we could do that like in the public. Like they used to do public hangings, which, you know, should be coming back someday. But like, I think that we could really traumatize a lot of people if we just start, like, why not do the abortion, you know, just in public and just show them ripping the baby apart and then like sucking it out of something. Like, we don't necessarily have to put it in a woman. I mean, we don't even know what a woman is. So it's like, it could just be in a man, a shim, you know, whatever, a tank.
Well, now here for the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We'll start with our first caller.
All above, you need to think, we think what these people do to the county, the fee schedule is huge increases, the building fees, just as housing prices are coming down. So is this to make up for lower prices, or does the county fire want to discourage home building or upgrade? The building permit increase of 42 or 52% for non-commercial buildings, but the decrease of 30% for commercial buildings is ridiculous. Discourages new housing, 100% increase for grading plan review. Who doesn't have a grading plan in this Holly County? If the fire mitigation program can keep to a 3.6% increase, a 40 to 100% increase is outrageous. And, you know, giving us a minute to speak on these 5 items is ridiculous. You should count.
Thank you. Here's the next caller. Next caller is Justin Castro. Your device might be muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Justin. Please go
Can
ahead.
you hear me? Okay, awesome. So we're grouping everything together, so because which one of these items can you not, you have to vote yes on? Did you answer that question, or is this just a complete secret and we're supposed to be guessing on which item there is an actual discussion on, and we can actually change your mind? And then which item there is no changing your mind because Secretary of State basically told you how to go ahead and, or the union told you how to vote on a particular item. Could you please give us the list of the items that pertains to? I mean, you've admitted to it multiple times, countless times, even on recorded by the news. So I just would like to know which items we can discuss and which items we can not. It's already predetermined based off of, you flat out admitted it, right? The 20-minute clip where you said you'll go ahead and look at it.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
Thank you, Auditor. Regarding item 10, this is a good time to note key learnings from a recent presentation review of county behavioral services. The review found significant mental health challenges among youth, including depression, suicidal ideation, and substance abuse being a coping mechanism for those things. I urge greater behavioral health services attention to these critical youth needs because access to crisis support was found to be a pressing and high priority issue in this review. Pressing concerns for Hispanics in particular were lack of residential treatment places for youth and getting services early before getting into trouble situations. So let's be sure to focus on these pressing youth needs. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
It's true, the county raising fees on everything is definitely all related together. Might as well muddle up corruption rather than waste time pretending this broke. We're actually caring what the people want or can afford. Item 9, raising the ambulance fees, housing fees, and 22 different aspects. It's gonna work out great. They're forced to go to Mexico for basic housing or basic health care, because we all know the state social system this board promotes doesn't actually work. Just a whole bunch of fraud. Item 10, item says, ACSA recently conducted a review of fees and rates in order to ensure costs are fully recovered for services. So was there no independent audit and accounting for HHSA services? Interesting. Item 11, hourly rates for the Office of County Counsel are predicted to result in a decrease of $34,000. Does that mean we're getting closer to Damon Brown either being fired or quitting? Hey, a positive. But the registered voters going up by $75,000. I think fraud costs a lot of money, election fraud specifically. And clerk of the board increasing by $40,000. For what? You guys can barely answer PRAs or the tax.
Thank you. Chair Losser, that concludes public comment on this item. And I would like to note for the record that for item 11, there was a typographical error in the board letter that transferred the agenda. In the recommendations, the year should reflect 2026, not 2029.
Thank you. Do we have a motion or a second to recommend clause? Okay. I'll leave a motion from Supervisor Anderson, second from Chairperson McCurry. Does anyone have?
Thank you. I just have a brief, a small amendment potentially to the motion here, and it's concerning the fire inspection increases. We still have a housing crisis, and I know these fees are required to go up, but at the same time, I think government is part of the problem. We go to build housing and adding to the cost of that. I'd rather incentivize what we can do to streamline the business process, and our staff has been doing good. But however, some of these are kind of nickel and diamond, I think, increasing the cost of housing. Specifically, I'd like to stop the increases of the residential building permits with and without the fire sprinklers, and waive Board Policy B29 and refer the balance to budget. So it's only like $100 increase, $120 increase for housing without sprinklers, and it's over $200 per inspection with increases or with sprinklers. So it's a small amount, I get it, but we got to start somewhere as far as these fees, particularly on housing. If we can do that and then refer the balance to budget. So I'd like to ask that. It's on page 7 of item 9 in the table. The top two, these are the permits. These are the increases in fees and permit fees for residential buildings with or without fire sprinklers.
Chairman Commander?
I don't agree with the proposed amendment just because I know that staff did a thorough job in analyzing where the fees should be. And if we use or change the fees for one item or one type of fee, then we may have imbalanced approach, and there may be other sectors that may request the same thing, and it's something that concerns me. So I know that staff put a lot into making these as balanced as possible.
Thank you. I'll comment on a question. I think overall we have a board policy that's a cost recovery board policy, right, where our fees are intended to reflect the actual costs. So just wanted to better understand how does this item either adhere to that board policy or not adhere to that board policy. I think sort of that basic principle of cost recovery is obviously very essential for our county to continue functioning in a fiscally solid way. So I don't know if our team is able to answer that question.
Thank you, Chair. I'll defer to Mr. Crawford and
Yes, and thank you, Chair, for the question. The fees do adhere to policy B29, which allows increasing those fees to be full cost recovery as much as possible. But I can defer to our Director of County Fire to talk a little bit about what that is, because it could be impactful if we don't increase those.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair, and members of the board. So the increase does reflect what the increase in staff costs associated with providing that service. It would probably be about a $40,000 to $50,000 loss to county fire revenue if the fees were to remain flat. If the board chooses to keep those fees in the same way.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll just note, obviously there are certain times when we waive that full cost recovery policy for sort of compelling public interest reasons. But I do think as a general principle, the notion that we're trying to ensure that the services, the fees are commensurate with the services that we're providing, neither levying higher fees than the value of the services nor subsidizing those services. I think is an important principle. Superintendent.
I'm sorry I didn't catch Mr. Collins when he was up there. Are there any delays in our services? Sometimes these fees are tied to the speed in which we perform the duty if it's upside down. So I don't know, nobody in my district has complained about our fire teams and their responses, but I believe Mr. Collins would know if they did.
I mean, no matter what, we're going to expect. So if someone is building, whether it's residential or commercial, we have the staff to do the work. And so there obviously when someone is building out a school district, et cetera. And so this is just one component of it. So regardless of what the board does, we will continue to do the work, certainly, without any delay. But it's just that it's
and then is I'm sorry, not for you. Thank you for that very succinct answer. Did we do any outreach on this? Did Stan? Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking outreach to like the building industry or others that, generally bear the brunt of these fee increases. And what was their response?
Yeah, the answer is yes, we do that. And we routinely meet with those stakeholders. We also have the Fire Advisory Board, which is your representatives within our Fire Advisory Board. They heard this item, they unanimously supported the fee package that's on the board. But yes, the building industry, and so we coordinate that through PDS and their regular meetings. So we have an opportunity to do outreach. But in particular, our own Fire Advisory Board, they hear this matter and support it.
Thank you very much. I always think that there's a lot of people complaining that we're impeding the market in the growth, but on the flip we've given an incredible amount of money to different programs that we have, and we're going to be hearing later this meeting increased costs on programs. And in our last board meeting, when I brought up transparency, everybody was worried that it may cost us $5 or $10 grand to post things on our website to be more transparent. Yet we have items that are costing us in perpetuity $1.5 million on brand new programs. We don't even know what our budget holds for next week. So if the board is saying we think this will stimulate the market and we'll get an economic value, I'm for it. If we're saying this is just another free giveaway that nobody's complaining about, well then I post it. So I'm trying to discern which one of those items it is.
Supervisor Guzman?
Well, thank you. I appreciate all the comments on this. I mean, I know this is only a small amount, but 45% of the cost of a house is government. And, this is a small step that's raised, stop and a fee increase. And it would be backfilled by budget. This isn't just, it's going to, be a shortfall for my ask was that we waive about 4,000 on B29, the cost recovery, and refer the balance to the budget. So it's going to be covered. This next generation can't afford a house. And we keep pushing jobs and people out of the state because they can't afford to live here. I know this is a small step, but I think it's a step in the right direction. And we at least, in the housing crisis that we're having, if we freeze the fees now and not increase them, it's a small amount, but to me it's a step in the right direction. So that's the whole reason for me putting that forward. I don't think it's going to break the county or break any ethics or codes or anything like that. It's just, let's stop these fee increases while we have a housing crisis. So, and this was only on residential housing. So thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? There's a motion by Supervisor Anderson and a second by Chairperson McGarry, which would be to take all these items, 9, 10, 11, fire protection items 1 and 2, and approve all of them. And this motion were to pass, the suggestion of Supervisor Desmond would not move forward. So if anyone, Supervisor Desmond, so far you don't have a taker or a suggestion. So unless you
I put it out there.
Okay. Okay. No takers. Onward we go. Please vote.
Chair allows agreement that motion passes with Supervisor Desmond voting no, all other supervisors are present voting no.
Okay. Thank you all very much. We will now move on to discussion item 12. Authorizing the use of parking facilities downtown San Diego. When I read this item, Supervisor Anderson, I thought maybe you wanted to stack the cars. Like a little Tetris. So decided to see what we could do. Did you want to say anything to these guys?
Well, I'm happy just to preface it so that people are talking about the right thing, not talking about stacking cars, not that you have that in mind. But we have parking lots downtown that we utilize throughout the day, both for our constituents to use our county services and for our employees. But at 5 o'clock, we have over 800 parking spaces that are potentially available, and that's what this is addressing. Now, having said that, I think it's possible I'll hear for the public, then I finish my remarks.
And, okay, so we'll begin with self.
No stacking. No
stacking. This is not a Tetris proposal, just to be clear. Turning to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Alson. We have 7 requests to speak on this item, 2 in person and 5 requesting to speak by phone. Also, note for the record that we received 2 e-comments in support. For any individuals that requested to speak on item 12 by phone, please dial on the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. As the name is called, please come forward. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board. I'd like to invite forward Cesar Javier and the rest of the audio. I'll speak. Please state your name for the audio record.
Thank you, because
We are happy working so hard to save ourselves from this destructive decision makers' judgment and all this sort of approval unknowingly or knowingly done. My God, help us, because you are again making us difficult to manage our pocket. We are retirees, and you are seeking to get more fish. We park our car somewhere just to attend public meeting. We ended up late night, and suddenly we saw our car out in the parking space, only to find out we were cited despite the hanging blue tag. We were hurt. We were tired and aggravated. A moment where we said, is this our governance? Is this our lawful elected officials? Let us not source money from this kind of intent or plan. Please, let us invest in getting public trust by putting more effort and programs to create jobs. And crucially, Mama Gire, let us keep those victims healthy and go back to work. Hard work to keep our region running, working. Thank you.
I was wondering if we could turn up the air. Loma seems to be very hot, and I'm not sure if it's menopause, which is probably making her jealous, Tara, that you're pregnant. You guys are the same age. So parking. What I'm thinking is, I thought we weren't supposed to be driving, right, Tara? But are we just like, we want to make money while people still are? I figure if we want to get people out of their cars a little bit quicker, you could charge like $100 an hour. Probably, you know, or just like for 5 minutes. And then, you know, people have to keep moving their cars. I just don't feel like we're getting enough revenue from this. And we have a very limited time because it's like not too long from now. I mean, they're going to be, you know, retiring a lot of these old cars. They really want you to get into those new ones if they're going to allow you to drive, right? Because the car's going to drive itself. And they could just, you know, take you to a FEMA camp or something like that. But I thought, like, just to, you know, be equitable, maybe we could have, you know, the children that you guys kidnap in the county go work at these facilities. And, you know, like, they could just be there all night. I mean, they could live where they work. You guys like that. And, you know, they probably won't steal any of that money. As long as you just say no cash, you know what I mean? And just, it only has to be a card. Or we can start charging people blood, sweat, and tears. So it's like, you get a discount if it's blood, especially vaccinated blood. That stuff has like nanobots in it and stuff that are self-assembly, so that is a little bit more lucrative. People could, I mean, men could donate their sperm. Actually, women too, because I think that women could be men. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I feel like we're just like an androgynous species and whatnot. Joel, I probably wouldn't donate your sperm, but that's okay. All right.
You will now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We will start with our first caller.
Although I'll be short on this one. When I first saw this, I thought that it might involve raising fees to make up for cities' losses at the Balboa parking scam, Balboa Park, where, you know, they lost half of their customers as well as their parking meters. Anyway, however, it is in fact a common sense study of how the most efficient way to use the empty space at various parking areas in San Diego. You probably should have done this years ago. But on the other hand, maybe you could keep any fees you have instead of housing inspection fees. Big rate, which they pick on home builders and discriminate in favor of corporations, which seems to be your goal this election season. And I thank you for allowing 2 minutes to speak on this one item when you allow 1 minute for 5 items, which is dumb. I mean, you ought to cut down proportionately, you know. Instead of 2 minutes for each item, you should have allowed like half time for all of those items. Thank you.
Hey, it's truth, let's see. This isn't a Texas proposal. No. It's a money-making proposal from lost revenue / free money, Joel Anderson. Where's that clip? I'm sorry I didn't practice this time. You know I love to play that one where he told Nathan Fletcher, oh, I'm always eager for free money. I haven't memorized. How about that? I haven't played it in a while. How can the county make up for its loan budget? Oh, he just turned the free parking spaces into paid parking at 5 p.m. Get those rich baseball people who are dumb enough to spend $60 on the city of San Diego's tax parking, overtax parking, in fact. For example, somebody sent me a photo of the Padres inviting Fake by Manuela to sign the national anthem on Friday night because commies can't sing, aka Manuela can't spell. And it's also very hypocritical because I'm pretty sure she's known for displaying anti-MMIW2 and LGBTQ2AIP+. Hey, by refusing to recognize people's chosen identity. Circling back though, why does Joe care if there's parking for the Padres game or not? Yeah, regular attendee, certainly not a regular self-driver. Why would A, parking be a so-called stakeholder when they already basically have a monopoly on the parking spaces in downtown? Did the Padres donate to somebody's campaign, or is this yet another bailout for the city of San Diego's failures? Because the Padres make enough millions per year, they could afford to build an entire stadium of free parking spaces if they wanted to. If San Diego residents don't like the parking fees, just vote out Monica Gold's buddy who flew through the budget and now need to punish the public they failed to serve, just like Tara and this corrupt board have constantly been doing for the last 6 years. If you go in the same direction, you're going to have a 100% bankruptcy just the same. I think this is the county's first step in tax parking to make up for their own loan budget and to backfill the city of San Diego's losses from mismanagement, and they're going to funnel the profits, keep on funneling the profits to the city of San Diego. Because this is actually we the people's space, and if anything, it should all be donated back to the people as reparations for 6 years of county mismanagement.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
Yeah, obviously you guys have plenty of parking for the people working at your businesses. Meanwhile, at the same time, you basically said, hey, any new businesses don't need to go ahead and provide parking anymore, right? Now you're going to benefit off of that because, what, $50 per parking space downtown? How many spaces do you go ahead and make off of that? I mean, you create a problem so you can get rid of it, right? I mean, you go ahead and set up different things because you really don't have the money to fix our infrastructure. Yet you pat yourself on the back. For years, we used the wrong paint on our road, which is why for years and years we couldn't even see down the freeway when we were driving at night what lane we were in. Now that we're getting to the automatic cars, for some reason, you guys are going full steam, fixing roads like you've never fixed them before. Why? With automatic cars? Do you understand the side effects this is going to happen? No, you don't. That's why you have that job. That's why people cheated to get you into that position. It's because you're dumb as fuck and you're more than willing to be the mule in this whole experience. You guys are going to be the ones holding the bag. I have no fucking problem with that, and it's going to happen sooner than you fucking think. I'm just kind of curious when it gets to that point, and the breaking point actually fucking is. How much fucking trouble are you gonna be in? I'm suspecting a whole shitload, like prison time, or fucking constant harassment from everyone, not being able to walk out onto the street. Because I'm pretty sure that people are going to go ahead and blast that all over the place. You don't have to worry about me at all. You're doing it to yourself. You know it. I know it. The judges know it. I wonder why you can't touch me, you motherfuckers. So let's go ahead and start thinking about the people. Let's go ahead and open up parking. Let's go ahead and...
Chair, that concludes public comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Supervisor Anderson.
Madam Chair, Board, you know, State of San Diego, I'm old enough to remember when Fifth Avenue was a scary place to be. And yet today it's been revitalized, it's vibrant, there's all sorts of evening activities. And if a family in East County wanted to come down here, first of all, they have to drive to either Oklahoma or East to catch the trolley. And if they were to go to the ball game and want to have drinks afterwards or see a show, they have to be cognizant that the trolley may not deliver them back. And for someone to go from downtown to take an Uber ride out to, say, Lakeside or Alpine, that's well over $100 if you can find somebody who wants to drive one way out there. So the scarcity of parking is a real issue. And it's not so much that the parking isn't there or available. A lot of people have no idea that the county has parking spaces available. And in our recent fiscal transparency and accountability ad hoc committee meeting, I had asked staff some questions about how they contract the parking and the rest. And that's when I discovered we have over 800 parking spaces that we potentially could get a higher and better use and encourage more people to come downtown and spend their money. So what this board letter is really doing is asking that we work with our vendor East Parking, who do an outstanding job, but reevaluate those 800 spaces to ensure that they're being filled, that people know their options, and that we're not leaving money on the table, because even when you come to the office here, we only give you 3 hours of free parking to do your county business. So some people actually park here, and sometimes we have concerts, we have other things at the county building, and we benefit from that because people know they can park. This would look at downtown as a region and try to captivate more of those empty parking spaces and convert them to sources of money, and at the same time give our constituents a higher quality of life because they're not spending enormous amounts of time worried about the big fine parking of one. And by the way, state law changed, and we lost a lot of parking spaces because now you can't park near the intersection. So minimum, we've lost 4 parking spaces on every city block, sometimes more. So that's the focus of this. It's not to raise our fees per se, but it is about making sure that the availability, that we're fully utilizing that availability, and that we get the message out so people that don't live on a trolley line or a bus line can fully enjoy all that downtown San Diego has to share. So that's the focal point of this, and I respectfully, as downtown San Diego continues to grow and parking lots become more scarce, it's important that we utilize our downtown county resources to help the public find reasonably priced and convenient parking. With that, I ask for a second, and hopefully an aye vote.
Okay, I'm having a second.
That's my motion, by the way. Thank you.
I'm having a second. Do any of my colleagues have any comments on that? Okay, Chairperson McCreary.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Supervisor Anderson, for bringing this forward. I do see an opportunity, and I want us to explore where we can increase our resources while still providing parking opportunities for as many people, especially the ones in your district. I just want to make sure that we do not stop providing the 3 hour parking for our customers who come do business in our building during business hours. So as long as that's protected, I just wanna make sure that we protect that and that it's for all the other options. And I know that's what you said, but I just wanna put that on the record.
Okay, thank you for acknowledging that's what it said.
I just wanna.
I don't want to be misleading.
No, not at all, and I'm happy to support.
Supervisor Desmond?
Well, since it's my birthday and I can't help myself, but perhaps we can backfill some of the permit fees with extra parking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Chair Lawson Raymer, that motion passes unanimously. Call Supervisor Star testimony.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys, thank you everybody. So we now move on to discussion of item 13, public hearing in compliance with Assembly Bill 2561, AB 2561, regarding county assembly vacancies and efforts. So we will begin with the county team, which has a presentation, and then I know SEIU has asked for a presentation, which they are entitled to, but they only have one person speaking, and so in a presentation, one person can speak for a maximum of 4 minutes. So first we'll have discussion on discussion number 13, first we'll have the finance presentation, then we'll have a presentation for SEI from SEI speaker, which is for 4 minutes, and then we'll have public comment. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Lawson, Kramer, and members of the board. My name is Randy Winterbottom. I'm the Interim Director of Department of Human Resources. We're here today to present the status of vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts for the County of San Diego as required by Assembly Bill AB 2561. This legislation was signed by the Governor in September of 2024 and enacted in January of 2025. It requires public agencies to present the vacancy rates by bargaining unit, recruitment strategies, and retention efforts once per fiscal year prior to the adoption of the budget, and allows employee organizations to make a presentation to the board. We have provided each of our labor partners with their respective vacancy rates by bargaining units. And finally, AB 2561 requires, where applicable, that the county provide specific detailed data if the vacancy rate exceeds 20% within a single bargaining unit, noting here that no county bargaining unit meets this threshold. This bill was enacted due to concerns that high job vacancies could impact public service delivery and potential for workers to be required to handle heavier workloads, which could lead to burnout and increased turnover, and potentially further exacerbate staffing challenges. Finally, the bill allows for an opportunity to work in collaboration with our labor partners to address concerns and develop strategies. I'm pleased to report that the county's overall vacancy rate is 5.1% this year, reduced from 6.2% in 2025. I will now turn the presentation over to Shanti Turner, Interim Assistant Director of Human Resources, to provide a general overview of the vacancy rates and recruitment and retention efforts that have been ongoing here at the county.
Thank you, Randy. Today I'll be sharing vacancy recruitment and retention data for the period of March 9th, 2025 through March 9th, 2026. The county has 20,250 budgeted positions with 19,217 employees. At its peak in July 2022, the county's vacancy rate was nearly 20%. As Randy mentioned, the Department of Human Resources and hiring departments work diligently to reduce the vacancies to their lowest point of 5.1% currently, with 1,033 vacant positions, 193 less vacant positions than last year. During the same period, the Department of Human Resources accepted applications for 684 recruitments, receiving over 85,323 job applications. Nearly 1,300 new employees were hired into the organization, and 1,785 county employees were promoted. The county has 9 employee organizations representing 16,800 employees that are listed here on the slide. Within those 9 employee organizations, we have 20 slide shows vacancies for SEIU and its 10 bargaining units. The next slide shows vacancies for the District Attorney Investigators Association, the Deputy District Attorney Association, the Deputy Sheriff's Association, the Public Defender Association, the Probation Officers Association, and the Supervising Probation Officers Association. The last slide shows vacancies for Deputy County Councils Association, Teamsters Local 986, and the unrepresented employees in the county. You may have noted a negative vacancy rate in a few of our representation units. This occurs when departments have a temporary need to overfill positions to allow adequate time for cross-training in advance of retirement or other vacancies. As Randy mentioned, there is no single bargaining unit with a vacancy rate that exceeds 20%. We do have pockets of challenges in recruiting and hiring for specific job classifications that we'll discuss later in the presentation. We have worked diligently to hire qualified staff to reduce vacancies by creating a toolbox of creative and versatile strategies, since a one-size approach doesn't necessarily fit all needs. The Central Department of Human Resources works collaboratively with each of the departments to identify any recruitment challenges and to express strategies to increase applicants. We engage with community by attending public outreach events and job fairs. During this period, we attended 53 events, including 18 that were veteran focused. We maximize efficiencies for our candidates by hosting same-day hiring events, where hiring departments can make job offers at the same time of interviews, and candidates can immediately start the background check process, which significantly reduces the amount of time to bring staff on board. We held 21 events and hired 81 candidates at the same-day hiring events. In addition, your board approved various hiring incentives for hard-to-fill positions such as engineers, equipment operators, and public safety officers, resulting in 323 employees being hired over the past year. Next, we'll discuss retention. The Gallup organization recommends that successful organizations target a retention rate of 90% or higher. This slide shows the county's year-over-year retention rate of 93%, increased 1% from last year. A skilled and diverse workforce is the foundation of providing services to the community served in San Diego, and creating a sense of belonging for employees is at the forefront of the county's culture. Key elements to increasing retention of the county workforce include offering employees meaningful opportunities for advancement and growth within the organization, leveraging teleworking and alternate work schedules to support optimal work-life balance where operationally feasible, also consistently engaging with employees to gain and gather insights and identify opportunities for organizational improvement and development, and a newly established 6-month mentorship program designed to help county employees build leadership skills, explore career paths, and connect with coworkers across departments. It's important to note that some turnover is healthy to allow organizations to progress by bringing together diverse perspectives and new skill sets and supporting career opportunities. While the overall vacancy and retention rates have been positive, we recognize there are always be challenges in hiring for roles where there are industry shortages, and remain committed to innovative and proactive strategies in collaboration with the hiring departments. Our ongoing efforts include leveraging relationships with schools that produce professionals in these industries, collaboration with professional membership associations and organizations, enhanced recruitment processes to streamline and expedite the overall hiring process. Also, revise minimum qualifications to broaden the candidate pool and increase the number of applicants who meet eligibility requirements. Bringing forth compensation adjustment requests as necessary throughout the fiscal year, and also continuing our same-day hiring. I'll turn it back over to Randy to conclude the presentation.
The county has made significant strides in efforts to fill vacant positions and recruit and retain a skilled, diverse, and engaged workforce. In the upcoming fiscal years, each county operational group will take measured steps to monitor vacancies and will implement strategies to ensure ensure core services are delivered to the public. We will also work to ensure that if there are areas of high vacancy rates, that we are not putting heavier workload burdens on our employees. I'd like to thank each of our departments for their partnerships in helping to improve hiring efficiencies throughout the organization, and also to our labor partners for being here today. Today we are asking that the board accept our presentation, subject to your questions. That concludes our presentation.
Okay, does anyone on the dais, any of my colleagues have questions? Okay, seeing no questions, I would like to call up the representative from SEIU. And as a reminder, Andrew is a presentation, so although it's only one individual, but she does introduce you for
I'll ask you to please state your name for the record.
My name is Sarah Nielsen. All right. SEIU Local 221 appreciates the county providing vacancy data by bargaining unit. We want to raise concerns where vacancy rates appear high enough that the board should closely monitor them. The highest vacancy rate in the data provided is in health services, with 568 budgeted positions, 488 filled, and a 14.1% vacancy rate. That is a serious staffing gap in a critical public service area. Other bargaining units also show notable vacancies, including appraisal, EDP, fiscal purchasing at 9.8%, professional at 9.6%, and middle management at 6.9%. Even where the vacancy rate is below 20%, these numbers can still have real impacts on workloads, service delivery, burnout, and retention. The board should treat these vacancy numbers as an early warning sign. When positions remain unfilled, the work does not disappear. It gets pushed onto existing employees, delays services to the public, and can make it harder to retain experienced staff. In addition to overall bargaining unit vacancy rates, the concentration of vacancies within specific classifications is particularly concerning. In several cases, vacancy rates within individual classifications far exceed the broader unit averages, indicating acute staffing shortages in key roles. For example, within the Health Services Unit, there are 39 vacancies in the Sheriff Detention Licensed Vocational Nurse classification, representing a 42% vacancy rate. In the Professional Unit, the Sheriff Detention Mental Health Clinician classification has 22 vacancies, a 33% vacancy rate. Within the Middle Management Unit, there are 9 vacancies in the Senior Office Assistant classification, a 6% vacancy rate. In the Clerical Unit, there are 48 Office Assistant vacancies, a 7% vacancy rate, and 10 Departmental Personnel Technician vacancies, a 6% vacancy rate. In Public Safety, Sheriff Emergency Services Dispatch has 20 vacancies, representing a 23% vacancy rate. These classification level shortages are especially concerning because they often reflect frontline or highly specialized roles that are essential to daily operations. When vacancies are concentrated in these positions, the operational strain is magnified, further impacting service delivery, employee morale, and the county's ability to respond effectively to public needs. Given both the overall vacancy rates and the severity of shortages in specific classifications, we urge the board to closely monitor these trends and take proactive steps to address recruitment, hiring, and retention challenges before conditions worsen further. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak on this item. We have 10 requests to speak, 3 in person, and 7 requesting to speak by phone. Also note for the record that we received 1 comment in support. For any individuals that requested to speak on item 13 by phone, please dial to the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. I'd like to invite forward Cesar Javier, allegedly Audra, and David Levine. You'll have 1 minute to address the board since there are 10 more speakers on the site. I'll ask you to please state your name for the audience.
I think we need to work on increasing these vacancies. And one way to do that is to tell people if they work for the government, you have to do it for free and donate your salary to the budget. I feel like we could really get money there. But you know what else we could do? because again, children are very lucrative and we can make money off the backs of them. Just do forced labor and use Summer Steffen's child abduction unit. Heck, we don't even need any of these social workers and stuff to go like rip families apart. Just go kidnap the kids. I mean, you already do it, but like just do it, don't even go through the process, and then just force them to go work. You know what I mean? It's like we can really, and you don't even have to tell people they're children. You can say, no, they're just like short people. And they'll believe you, because you guys are really good at pulling wool over people's eyes and making them believe that men are women and who knows what, that you aren't trafficking kids. So let's just keep doing that, and I think that we'll do really good once the government's gone. It's going to be great.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is David Levine, and I'm speaking on for the Public Defenders Association of San Diego County. I'm neutral on the item, but I want to speak to what the vacancy numbers do not show from the ground. The Public Defender Bargaining Unit does show a high vacancy rate, does not show a high vacancy rate. The county's report lists us as overfilled, in fact. But vacancies count empty seats. They do not count crushing workloads. The vacancy number is low because the pressure is being absorbed by people, not because the pressure is gone. The work has changed. Mental health diversion, body-worn camera review, Prop 36, new sentencing and diversion laws all require more duties, deeper investigation, and more time per case. Every new right creates work. Every new procedure creates work. And that work has to be done by someone. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We'll start with our first caller.
Although there are several types of vacancy positions which are filled, people who don't work or people who lack the qualifications or abilities to do the job. And I'm sure there are a lot of other types. And we won't discuss where the vacancies are for now. A vacancy rate of 5% is not acceptable. It means that you might be missing out on good ideas and people are probably overworked because there's lots of work, and since since the duties are increasing, you should have people ready to fill the gap, as it were. Interesting that health services has a high vacancy rate, particularly the sheriff's department. That's not good. Go ahead.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
You know, as a rambling, I do appreciate the fact that your current registrar ended up lying to you and said that he is deathly afraid of needles. That's why he didn't take the shot. I mean, you were really going after kicking people out that basically opposed you. And you used the COVID restrictions to go ahead and force people out, and now you're suffering the consequences of those actions. But now, since you went ahead and anyone who has common sense no longer works at the registrar of voters, you have a bunch of followers, including the registrar, especially the registrar, willing to go ahead and turn us back onto fraudulent activities just because he likes that paycheck. This is the condition we're in, right? No one really wants to work for you guys. I mean, grifters definitely do. People that don't have a moral code definitely do. That has definitely changed since basically, definitely since 2020. You can see.
Hey, sure, I actually watched the council meeting, and it was clear in 3 seconds that who's going to sign AB 2531 as yet another union kowtow. Whoever pays the campaign bills is the crooked career politicians play a bastard. Mariette Lameau is a great local La Mesa example of having no actual power, yet being a pathetic puppet for the communist union. Basically, the Sacramento Swamp found a loophole to ensure Native Fletcher's master, Lorena Gonzalez, and the union get a secure seat at the table, while the public will be even less likely to know about more pay increases. This is a rigged deal and rigged game. It's kind of like the day entitled Tara allowed SAU to hijack and shut down these meetings, or when she allowed SAU to flip off Jim during meetings, or when she allowed racist SAU minions to yell white power during a meeting. And I'm sure white power blank, Tara approves the AB 2561, whatever butters the bread, because it's sure as heck ain't a worthless county badge. More unfunded mandates from the top down. Thanks, Constitution hating progressive communists and the union funders. Remember, it's on pie and die.
Thank you. Here's the next caller.
Okay, Gonzalo here. So what I wanted to point out regarding this item is, gosh, how big government is growing within our local beautiful county. Let's see, you guys have about 18,000 county employees now. 18,000. That's massive. And yeah, look around, you know, things aren't getting better. And, you know, with that massive of a workforce, you would think we have like all the basic needs met, people thriving instead of surviving, and that's not what's happening. Okay, so yep, same old thing. We're seeing homelessness, rising, addiction, mental health, all that stuff. And yet, at the same time, things that actually give our county soul are shrinking, like the local arts.
Good morning, Board. My name is Joe White. I'm currently the president of the Supervisors Association. I believe that I'm neutral, but I'm definitely in favor of more efforts being made to fill the vacancies, recruitment, and retention of our employees. As a department, as indicated by your board letter, we currently have 81 positions, but we currently have 10 supervisor vacancies, which would actually put us at 12% vacancies, which would lead us to be, second behind health services. The importance of filling these vacancies is to provide adequate and robust training, mentorship to the staff under our supervision. Filling these vacancies will enable us to provide more appropriate services to the clients we serve, which will help to ensure a successful experience with the probation department. The FQA looks forward to working collaboratively with our department and the county to address these concerns. Additionally,
Chair Lost Agreement, that concludes public comments.
Superintendent?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Thanks, staff, for the presentation and all the hard work on this, particularly on the county's vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts. I appreciate it, and I know we're not there at 100% or even close with some of the departments, but I'd like to see the positive change. You're closing the gap. We'd all like it done faster, quicker. But particularly in when I was looking at the public safety departments, particularly the sheriff's office, I know we had a lot of efforts in restoring the group, bringing people on. So we've invested a lot in recruitment, retention, and I'm glad to see it's paying off. There's still work to be done, but I appreciate we're moving in the right direction. So I'll make a motion. Do we have to? Is this just accept or is it just accept? I'll accept. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairperson. Okay, we have a motion and a second. The Chairperson has a comment.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. So, for staff, thank you for the presentation. We know that we have an overall vacancy rate of 14%, and that stands out, especially as we are facing the changes and requirements in qualifying for programs such as Medi-Cal and CalFresh caused by HR 1. What workforce analysis beyond just retention are we conducting to assess the specific potential impacts from HR 1 and what the staffing needs will look like because of those impacts?
Through the chair, thank you so much for the question, Chair Pro Tem. Secretary. We are working diligently with the Health and Human Services Agency to continue to evaluate the needs of HR1, their staffing needs as well, and in some cases preparing to overstaff so that we have staff trained and ready on the ground to meet those needs. Specifically related to the health services unit, we had an unexpected large meeting of staff in the certified nurses assistant position. We had 7 retirements, 2 people relocate, and a few others. So they've already hired some replacement staff behind them, which has brought down the vacancy rate for the certified nurses assistants to 10%. And they also have ongoing hiring.
Thank you. And so you said that for health services positions, you are doing these strategies. How are we measuring whether those efforts are going to improve resident-facing outcomes? So we're going to staff the positions, but are we ensuring that the services that we're providing will not be impacted?
Chair, if I can ask Dr. If I can ask Liz to respond to that question, I think she's best informed.
And specifically, I'm talking about access, timeliness, caseload for staffers, things like that.
No, thank you so much. We have, in various departments, different performance standards. Some standards that we report up to the states, and we compare our standards with state and other neighboring jurisdictions. And that includes looking at caseloads per staff. That includes looking at call times. And so we have dashboards that we look internally, as well as comparisons to the state that we have to report out. I'm proud to say that we have shown positive performance outcomes in those areas. And for any areas that we do have any vacancies, significant vacancies, we also partner and contract with temp agency staffing so that we can bring folks in temporarily until those vacancies are resolved.
I appreciate that effort and that work. I know it's ongoing and it's always been a challenge, but now as we face the changes and cuts brought on by HR1, that's going to be even more significant. So I know that you're on top of it and that we just need to continue to monitor that. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Second, Ms. Senior, further request to speak, please vote.
Chair Lawson, the motion passes unanimously. Also, request to short resolution 29.
Okay. So items 14 and 15 are time certain tomorrow. Oh, come on. That was previously announced. We have a process question. You want to go ahead and answer that regarding how that was announced?
Thank you, Chair Lawson. On the agenda, published agenda, it indicated number page under the order of business that items 14 and 15 will be time certain scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, May 6th at 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. respectively.
So Monica could attend a party today. Okay. So moving on to item K, this is board committee reports at every meeting. I do ask if anyone would like to provide a brief update, report of progress, or share pertinent information regarding either boards you sit on, subcommittees, other agencies that you represent the county on. Superintendent?
Yeah, Bay Shore Bank, we did not meet.
Yes, thank you. Keeping us surprised of that. Anyone else? Supervisor Anderson?
Yeah, I understand.
I prefer your report last week, 2 weeks ago, on the wonderful progress of the water board. Okay, and I likewise do not have anything to report. Okay, item L, non-agenda public comment continued. We can go into resume and introduce the public many speakers.
Thank you, Chair Lawson. We have 10 remaining requests to speak on matters not listed on the agenda, 2 individuals in person, and 8 requesting to speak by phone. For those that requested to speak by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers, which invite forward Leslie Agra and Karita Javier. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board.
I'm going to wait till tomorrow. Thanks. Anything else?
We'll now hear from individuals that requested to speak by phone.
county,
And this caller, Diane Grace, please go ahead.
can you hold on for, I'm sorry, for 1 minute? I'm trying to,
Jan, we'll come back to you.
You never do that for anybody else. Wow, special privilege.
And, yeah, I looked in the paper the other day, a few days ago, and Israel bombing Lebanon big time, and it was in the Union. They got a bulldozer on a tank, and the bulldozing a Catholic nunnery right in the middle of Lebanon. They're going genocide in Lebanon right now. We got to take a proclamation condemning that. We did the Jew thing just a while ago with a proclamation. We need a new proclamation condemning Zionism for what it is. Just butchering, they're killing people. They're doing it all just like they did in Gaza. They're trying to take over Lebanon. Lebanon's got a Christian president. There's a lot of Christians there. It's not the Arabs they're doing it to now, they're doing it to both of them. We need to denounce that, man. Quit raising the parking fees and denounce Israel, or whatever you want to call them. You know, they're just doing it right now as you speak on YouTube. They're killing kids, they're bombing things, they got the tanks out. They're probably running over graveyards with those tanks. That's what they did in the Gaza. They desecrated graves with the tanks running right over there. And now they got a video of what Gaza looked like 20 years ago. It looked great. Now it's just decimated, man. They're going to go condos. We're going to get some timeshares from Marriott there. And they're not going to give them to the Gaza guys. They're going to sell them to us. It's brutal, man. It just puts us to shame, man, that we should give those guys a dime. Time's up with that, man. Proclaim, get a proclamation going. See what you got, man. Also, we're going Trump too, man. We got to Trump out San Diego County. He's coming at you, man.
Thank you. Allow me for the next call.
Hey, so true. Someone told me a story about signature gatherers pushing for a new bill to allegedly clean up Mexico sewage. They laughed because there is no money for rivers clean. Man, Mexico needs to be held accountable. They then asked if the signature gatherers get paid to collect signatures. The guy said, yes, if we need to vote, we get free lunch and dinner. The response was, you're being paid, you can pay for your own lunch and dinner. The guy said, you're right. Just more proof that fraud, strategy, and sewage are profitable in the state of California, and their loan is all about that. Next, Terra needs to be focused more on business instead of dating. From an executive summary report on the Terra bar incident, quote, on January 29, 2025, the Office of Ethics, Compliance, and Labor Standards was directed by CEO Ebony to review an incident involving Terra and misuse of her county badge and possible public intoxication. On January 10, 2025, Terra went to the part-time lumber bar in North Park. Los Dreamer was accompanied by an unidentified older gentleman. Despite being asked for her ID to enter the bar, Terra displayed her county ID badge and insisted she did not need to show ID. Later, after Terra had left, Terra's county ID badge was found by a patron. The door guy said Terra behaved rudely and acted entitled, characterizing Los Dreamer's conduct as white power and drunk. On January 14th, Terra reported county ID badge number 52594 lost via email from her legislative assistant. Witness 2 has not been interviewed on whether or not Terra was intoxicated. Conclusion, evidence supports that Terra tried to use her county ID badge / position to gain entrance to the bar and then lost her county ID badge at the bar. The county determined that the comment did not warrant further investigation, thus leaving the following report as an interim report. Consequently, the subject, Terra, was not notified of the complaint, was not interviewed, and did not receive a letter with the investigation's findings, end quote. Localized county corruption is always Terra. I'm notifying you that your misbehavior has exposed the county to potential security breaches. Your entitled attitude is white power racism. And is your older gentleman the rich daddy Rima or the baby daddy? More to look into.
Wow.
Good morning still, Board of Supervisors, Aaron Noodles here. Thank you for some thoughts and non-agenda public comment. This morning at 6 a.m., the White House released a report from the Office of National Drug Control Policy. And it was a 195-page document, and it addressed in particular their concern regarding the commercialization of marijuana being an addictive substance and it's posing a major threat to youth health. It gave two call-outs for our local community. One was to the city of San Diego, and I'm quoting from the report. While all drugs carry some level of risk, marijuana has the highest conversion rate from psychosis to schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. It goes on to say drug use is also the suicide, and the number one drug found in toxicology reports of people who died from suicide under the age of 25 in Colorado and San Diego was marijuana, more so than alcohol. In their shout out to California, they went on to say, it's important to make consumers aware of the health risks associated with marijuana use, which includes harm to heart health, cognition, and cancer. In one California study, cannabis-associated diagnosis of emergency room visits went up 1,800% for seniors over the age of 65. We spoke earlier today about lead, and it should be mentioned that in this report, they point out that marijuana is associated with exposure to heavy metals and pesticides that can accumulate in a process known as bioaccumulation. Further research indicates that marijuana can contain fungal pathogens that can cause serious and often fatal infections. So one asks ourselves here in the county, why do we need more marijuana businesses out here in the backcountry? Why do we need more potential for drug overdoses and for youth?
Thank you. We'll hear from that caller.
Good morning. My name is Karen Skelly. I'm a parent and a public health educator and a county planning group attendee. Recently, Dr. Ronette Lev, San Diego County Emergency Room and Addiction Medicine Specialist, provided a presentation entitled, It's Just Pot, What's the Problem? This presentation was appropriate for teens, their parents, public health educators, and legislators that care about the young people of our county. It can be seen on YouTube. She begins by explaining that as an emergency room doctor here in San Diego, she was gravely, personally, and professionally dismayed that there was a 690% increase in emergency room visits where the primary diagnosis was associated with marijuana. This equates to 37 cases a day on average at the county. Imagine the cost to parents, their families, to employers, to the medical staff, perhaps even to the police department. 17% of all adults smoking pot are clinically diagnosed with cannabis syndrome disorder. Among daily users, it raises up to 60%. And Dr. Lev described the misery of cannabis withdrawal, including sweating, tremors, sleeplessness, severe agitation, and depression. And why do I mention this today? Because this Board of Supervisors is poised to increase the number of marijuana businesses in the Bath County areas where they do not want any more of them, and they will do incredible damage in increasing access and normalization of pot use. Thank you for hearing my concerns this morning.
Thank you. We'll hear from this caller.
Hey, how you guys doing? Bunch of dickheads, of course. So, let's go and talk about Proposition 13, the same proposition that's screwing over that one person. You can't afford to fix the road, so then you decided to do the same subdivisions that we did right after World War II, but now instead of that, you basically created homeowners associations where they fix the roads, correct?
and then now they went ahead and bought all the property around this one piece of land. Now that person does not have access to the road to get out. Is that basically what I'm hearing? Basically forcing them to basically sell their property to them because, you know, you're not gonna go ahead and fix the road and create a road for them because you don't have money. Right? I mean, the reason why you do bike lanes is because you get extra money for bike lanes even though barely anyone rides bikes, not to the level that we should be investing all our money into. We're way too spread out for that. People aren't gonna be riding their bike from El Cajon down to San Diego. I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen. I mean, there are a few people that do it. There's this one guy that I used to play cards with all the time. He would drive a mile, and he would ride his bike a mile every single year before. And he was 76 years old, and he rode around the entire, basically, majority of the county in his bike. This is before we went ahead and added in the bike lane. So there has always been that path. The reason why there's more accidents now, you're telling kids that they could ride these high-powered motorcycles, electronic bicycles on the road, doing pop wheelies right in front of cars. What, are you surprised that they're getting hit? I'm not. You're telling kids to play in the street without any... Dude, you guys are so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. Just because the union tells you to jump, you ask them how high.
Yeah, we're out here from on call.
My name is Diane Grace, and I'm here as a concerned parent, grandparent, and community volunteer. I came to share that at the Youth and Teen Mentoring Program in which I am involved, we often provide public health and safety information. For example, we have distributed information from the Sheriff's Office regarding the county's social host law, especially since young drivers are so vulnerable and driving under the influence of alcohol and pot is very dangerous to them and everyone. I respectfully suggest that the county revisit its role in providing that education in more visible formats than we see now, for example, in social media and billboards. Instead, right now in the unincorporated area where I drive, there are 2 marijuana billboards. One features a delicious piece of cake with whipped cream and a cherry and advertising the pot shop, the Cake House. It is in pleasant shades of pastel pink, yellow, and blue. As I understand the state law, California restricts cannabis advertisements for marketing in a way that is attractive to children. I would definitely argue that this billboard is very attractive to kids. Clearly, a piece of cake with whipped cream and cherry on top is enticing. Marijuana businesses aren't known to care about children and youth, and here is a glaring example. We absolutely do not need more of them in our unincorporated areas. Thank you.
Thank you, and Chair Lockridge, that concludes the request for non-agenda public communications for this session.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we will turn to public comment for closed session matters.
Thank you, Chair Marina. Item 16 on today's general legislative session agenda are closed session matters. The closed session agenda includes 2 matters. Individuals that are requested to speak in closed session must provide comments related to matters listed on the closed session item. Otherwise, your comments to be considered off topic. We have 6 requests to speak, 1 in person and 5 requesting to speak by phone. For those that requested to speak by phone, please dial in the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. I'd like to invite forward Leslie Auger. 2 minutes to address the board.
Oh, poor David. I mean, Damon, whatever. Damon, are you excited to go and talk about these cases? I know that you like to do really nefarious things. So I'm sure this person that died, the Espinosa estate, right, let's just really screw them our accounts. You know what I mean? Just say, fuck you. You should have died, right? I mean, that's what we do with the children that you guys go in and kidnap. And then also this whistleblower stuff, it's like, definitely hide that information. I know that's what you're gonna do. We pay you a pretty penny to do it. And I'm wondering if you are excited
for county council like Jessica Feldman to go into court tomorrow. It's gonna be really cool. You guys are set to terminate the Lopez Robinson family. How cool is that? Are you excited? Because you get a pretty penny if you guys adopt them out. So that should be, what you gonna say, like rush it? Let's really just, we don't even need to spend like 5 minutes in here. Just, you know, I mean, we can pay off the judge. I don't know that you guys all work together like in court. It's kind of funny because you like sit there and act like everyone's like on opposing sides and you're all, you know, in the chambers laughing and stuff like that with the judge, right? You know, so. But are you excited to do that to Malika and Zayat? How cool is that gonna be? You gonna have dreams about it? Them like crying and stuff? You know, once they're like, you're not a parent anymore. Tara, maybe you could donate your daughter or son, I don't know, whatever you're incubating in there. I know it's adrenochrome, but like if you really wanted to feel like you're doing something beneficial to somebody, you take their kid, you can give them yours. I don't know, Paloma might want it because she's drying up, but yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Are you excited, Tara? How cool will that be? It'll be like another notch on your belt. You can just give your baby a poke and be like, you're lucky this isn't you. But it could be. We'll just see.
We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. Start with our first caller.
All abold on Voice of San Diego versus Cabot. The newspaper is suing towards the release of whistleblower complaints against former county contractor. That could shed light on what the county knew before it was involved in a criminal misappropriation case involving public money. The dean mentioned the docs in court. The county refuses to release or even redact them. Article 1, Section 3 of the Cal Constitution strongly favors public records release. Read it. You're wasting more of our money, fees, damages, reputation. Better settle quick. Let's see, who knew what when? Espinosa versus County, another sheriff neglect case. Espinosa died after 3 days of laying in the water-filled ditch. A welfare check was called 72 hours prior to that, but took no action. Apparently, the responding sheriff's deputy came north without ever leaving her car. Disgraceful. Better settle quick. Arabella McCormick, beaten and starved and murdered. Delilah starved to death in 3 months by her unfit adoptive parents. And Mary Evans tortured, kids taken up, brutalized by the cops. Evelyn Lopez, kids taken. The 150 or more Polinsky Center abuse cases and other abuse cases. People and animals. Makes me wonder if the board takes care of its own, but ignores all the harm to people and animals after the more county neglected by its judges. To do a thorough audit of the CF civil needs, that is.
Yes, we'll hear from the next caller.
Hi, I'm sorry, I can't find my speech. Can you just take me at the end? Thank you. Appreciate that.
You did it to somebody else.
I know you can do it. You did it before, just a little while ago. Thank you.
Councilor, we'll come back to you.
Hey, Trish, can you come back to me too? I'm not just kidding. Case A is Voice of San Diego versus the county. I would 100% back their lawsuit. In fact, I may be in contact with them soon. Here's an example of why. Voice of San Diego once reported on Fashion Carmela's boy, quote, in 2015, a year after she and Jose Emilio Bukowski married, Bukowski filed for bankruptcy. Bukowski started an electronic waste recycling business called Nerd Recycling, located at 120 Prospect Avenue in Santee. The owner San Diego E-Way sued because alleging a stolen list of clients and revenue calculating formula, end quote. But in reality, this case goes back to 2020 when Voice of San Diego, KTVX, and the News and Tribune RAG submitted California Public Records request to the county seeking location-based outbreak data on the alleged scary spread of some made-up virus they call COVID-19. The county court denied the request, claiming that information was confidential pursuant to a state health regulation and thus exempt from disclosure. It also claimed that release of the records might chill reporting of COVID-19 data, which of course means they knew their data under one of the many gone/fallen corrupt entities known as Wonka Wilma kept lying on the data. The most famous incident being where she said deaths had risen 100% because one person had died that month versus 0. And that was the county wasted over $1 billion tax dollars on. The corrupt cover-up judge was Joel R. Wolfeld. But don't forget, Voice of San Diego also has great articles like Out County Report, the not-so-flashy State of the Zero Beach quote. Former ID Mayor Manuel Loma used last year's State of the City address as a de facto campaign rally. Under council meetings, often overflowed with argumentative crowds. And away city council meetings under new mayor Mitch McKay become noticeably calmer and often downright chummy. Indeed, and Zero Beach now stands out as having South County's most drama-free local government, end quote. Thank you, Voice of San Diego. Truer words on a council never spoken. One fascist gone, one more fascist in MLG left. And thanks, Jim, for the very important update on San Diego's Mexican border bikeway that's seen countless delays and millions below. Now go eat some.
And we'll hear from the next caller.
Hey, how you guys doing? Bunch of dickheads, of course. So let's go ahead and discuss cause and effect. You're ignoring your job, which is basically making sure none of this shit happens. You end up paying how much money in lawsuits? How many kids are you stripping away from their family because you need that money? Right? How many kids are you doing that? You know, it's creating a pattern, and that pattern is recognizable, and it's going to be, you can't deny it at a certain point. Matter of fact, I don't think you could just deny it now if someone were to compile all the kids that you stripped away from family because of some bullshit reason. They jump through all the hoops and you still take their kids away. Why? Because you're that fucking evil, or because you are controlled by another person? You are bought and paid for, much like the slave days. Each and every single one of you are bought and paid for. You guys are going to be acting as the fucking mules when all this stuff comes crashing down on you. Do you understand that? And if you don't think it's going to come crashing down and you think you're going to win the election, then you have to worry about the fucking people. Because the people is what you really need to worry about, not the federal government. The people are getting fucking tired of this shit. You can see it all over the fucking place. I've been warning you about this all the fucking time. And because I'm warning you about this, you are trying to throw me in fucking prison. You fucking dickhead. Damn it. They increased the payroll to get you down here. Do you think you have a shot in hell in beating me with all the documentation that I got? That's why you guys went ahead and put a weak-ass lawyer on my case and tried to extend it out for so fucking long. Don't try to pretend you're not.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from the final caller.
Hey, Gonzalo here, and thank you for coming back to me. I found my speech. Thank you to all the previous concerned citizens. Amen to all of you. Let's see. Voice of San Diego versus the county. Newspaper is suing to force the release of whistleblower complaints against a former county contractor that could shed light on what the county knew before it was involved in a criminal misappropriation case involving public money. This is my husband's speech, actually. I just couldn't find it. So the DA mentioned the docs in court. The county refuses to release or even redact. Article 1, Section 3 of the California Constitution strongly favors public records release. Read it. You're wasting more of our money, fees, damages, reputation, better settled quick. That's from Paul Gold. Let's see, who knew what when. Espinosa versus County, another sheriff neglect case. Mayor Espinosa died after 3 days lying in at Waterfield ditch. Wow, this is gonna make you want to cry. A welfare check was called 32 hours prior to that, but took no long action. Apparently, the responding sheriff's deputy came and went without ever leaving her car. Disgraceful. Fucked up, babe. It's beyond disgraceful. But yeah, Arabella McCormick, beaten and starved and murdered. Delilah starved to death at 3 months by her unfit adoptive parents. Andrea Ebbing tortured, kids taken away, now brutalized by the cops. Evelyn Lopez, kids taken, the 150 or more Polinsky Center abuse.
Thank you. Chair Lawson, that concludes public comment on the closed session matter.
Okay, thank you all very much. So let me just talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing next. So we are going to proceed directly into closed session. With just a couple matters to move through. And tomorrow, due to the time certain afternoon items that are for actually time certain for the afternoon, the board will reconvene tomorrow at 11 a.m. for our legislative session, our land use legislative session. So again, we will reconvene at 11 a.m. So if you could make sure to announce that for the broader public, not only for the individuals sitting here. So we will go into closed session now, and then we will reconvene tomorrow at 11 a.m. And before we go to closed session, actually we'll take about a 5-minute break before closed session. So before our 5-minute break, we will turn the floor over to Supervisor Desmond, who has an adjournment in memory.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Appreciate it. This is in memory of Joe Honda. So with heavy hearts, we adjourn today's meeting in honor of Giuseppe Joe Honda, who passed away peacefully on April 5th at the age of 77. Joe was a beloved chef and owner of Joe's Italian Cuisine on Grand Avenue in Escondido, a cherished local landmark since 1980. He was an icon in the community. He brought people together through his warmth, his generosity, and his love of cooking. He was born in Italy, and Joe came to the United States via New York at age 18, and eventually settled in Escondido, where he built not only a successful family restaurant, but a legacy of hospitality and genuine heart. Even in his later years, he could still be found in the kitchen doing what he loved the most. Joe's legacy will live on through his daughters, Angelina and Adina, who continue the family business, honoring his tradition and his recipes. He will be deeply missed and fondly remembered by all who knew him. Our deepest sympathies go out to his family, dear friends, and to the community. May he rest in peace. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, the board will proceed to closed session. We'll be there at 12:25, and I'll see everyone back here at 11 a.m.
The board will now recess into closed session.
How special is that? You don't have to come until 11. It's awesome.
If there are any
Right, like that. Who knows? They usually, tomorrow's